Hello guys and welcome to the stream. Today we have ACC. This is the 3 hours of Zolder. This is an endurance race we're doing, so we have teams in here today. So we've got 3 teams. Sorry, I said 3 teams. Up to 3 drivers per team. And obviously they'll be literally doing 2 or 3 stunts, a stint, sorry, to obviously complete the 3-hour race. This is literally just a tester of us going into the longer sort of races. So we're going to look to go to 6, 12 and 24-hour races for 2020. So yeah, hopefully this will give us a good test of the driver swaps, and hopefully we don't have too many problems. Obviously if we do, we have seen a couple of bugs so far, so we will be trying to hopefully avoid those during the stream. Yeah, so hopefully in the same time we should be helping out ACC as well to, or Kunos to obviously perfect this this sort of stuff. Anyway, so it'd be myself, Simon, commentating, and it would be Ryan and Fabian. So, hello, Ryan.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here for the first 3-hour race that we're holding within ACC. Going to be quite exciting, and of course, we're probably one of the most exciting tracks in Europe for a 3-hour race at Zolder, of how tightly packed it's going to be. It's going to be quite interesting.
Absolutely. So yeah, and welcome, Fabian. How do you do, mate?
Yeah, hello Simon. I'm fine after all those little stream issues we had so far, but
shh,
that's
top secret.
Cat's out the bag now.
We are live now and nothing can happen anymore, so we are safe now. So let's start this little stream today.
Absolutely, yeah. So guys, we've got 11 minutes left to practice. Chris might restart the server at the end of practice. Depends if we have any more problems going on. If not, we go straight into qualifying. If we do, then obviously we just literally restart. We'll jump back in again, and away we go with qualifying. So yeah, there'll be 15 minutes qualifying. So just 1 driver per team will be qualifying for them, and then after that we have the 3-hour race. So for us as the commentators, we've got 3 hours of sitting here trying to be as comfortable as possible to keep you guys entertained. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. What I'll do quickly while we've got 10 minutes, I'll just bring up the spotters guide, which our awesome guy Fabian here is created for us. So I'll just bring it up on screen for you guys to have a look there. So there we are with the drivers and the cars they'll be racing. So a good little guide for you. If you are obviously in our Discord, you'll be able to pick that up in the info channel, the ACC info channel, to get the spotters guide. And obviously it's on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. So yeah, use that as well. So yeah, it should be a pretty good race. So we've got teams of 2 to 3 drivers per car. So it's 2 mandatory pit stops. So therefore, even if we only got 2 drivers, they still have to obviously pit twice. So there's no cheating. So obviously between the 3 of us commentators, we'll be keeping an eye on the pits and stuff. Make sure no one's trying to cheat their way through. But yeah, should be a really good race.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. This is one of the tighter tracks that we have here in Assetto Corsa Competizione, so definitely going to be interesting. I don't think there'll be a lack of action throughout the 3-hour race, whether it comes down to people lapping cars or overtakes for positions, but hopefully we'll have a clean race today with all the cars out on track.
And it's not only one of the narrow circuits of our calendar, but also one of the shortest ones. And with a 3 hours race today, we will see quite a lot of blue flag situations where hopefully everyone will work together to get those blue flags as clean as possible. But we will see them today quite a lot, as we don't have, for example, the what is it called again? I'm just losing words again. So in the tier system in our season 2 of our regular championship, which helps us to not get too many of those blue flag situations, because all of the drivers are very close together. But today we do not have such a system, so we will have varying skills of all drivers. And that means that we will see quite a lot of blue flags.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I've just had a bug, so I might have to just quickly restart the game shortly, guys, because I cannot connect to the broadcasting tool, which is going to be an issue for me. Typical, isn't it?
Right,
yeah,
well,
guys, while you're in stream a sec, can you just confirm that obviously during us obviously commentating and with the cars and stuff, that obviously we're not sort of being overtaken by the car noise and you can hear us clearly and stuff. I'll just jump on board so you guys can have a better understanding. Just let us know quickly so we just sort these little niggles out before the qualifying that starts.
yes, and I have just been given a piece of information from Race Control so that there will be a server restart before qualifying. So there will be a short restart just to make sure that any issues that have come up in practice are dealt with.
Excellent. Right. Okay. So I'm saying the game sound is a bit lower. All right. Yeah, we're trying to adjust this then, just so you can obviously hear us clearly. Obviously, the onboard is obviously going to be the loudest with the game noise. Obviously, when we're just outside cams, it should be a lot more quieter. So I just want to make sure we're just about right there.
You can actually turn down the volume of the in-game.
Yeah,
sound.
I've done that.
Awesome.
I've set it to 50%, so I would turn it down halfway on the master volume. But yeah, it was just delaying for that anyway. I'll just flick back to normal views for you guys when the camera picks up. So hopefully, yeah, that's not too bad. Right. What I'll do is that, guys, I'll just run the other camera set one. I just launched the other game, relaunch this game quickly because my broadcasting tool's not working. So I'll just chuck you onto here a sec. So I'll just let you use that on. Just keep an eye on the bottom screen because obviously I just go through and restart this one.
And I will just answer a question by Captain Guan quickly. He asked if there is a full Dutch team to support. There's not a full Dutch team, but there is a team with 2 Dutch drivers, which is Paradigm Shift, with car number 13, which features 2 Dutch drivers with Andre Mol and Andre Bergsma, and a 3rd UK driver, which is Jack Carmoletto. So no full Dutch team today, but 2 of 3 drivers is much enough, I guess.
We do have some teams here today that are running all of one nationality. We have a full French team, a full Finnish team, a couple of full German and Spanish teams, as well as Portuguese, and of course there is quite a few full Italian teams, as there always seems to be in events like these. So there's a lot of nation pride on the line for this race.
Yeah, and don't forget Silverback Racing with race number 88, which features only South African drivers. So quite a few different nationalities today, which is really great.
Absolutely, yeah. So just check the spotter guide up there for you guys so you can have a quick look to see drivers and the cars they're driving there for their teams. So hopefully that's fixed my issue. I mean, what would really be great is we had an auto director app for ACC. I mean, that would just make my life so much easier, especially when having to manage 2 streams.
Yeah.
Hopes of the future. Ashwell in the chat just saying that the weather looks nice. That could change at some point during obviously qualifying and the race. Obviously, with it being a 3-hour race, we have a much bigger chance of the weather changing than we do in our regular season races. Although Brands Hatch across all the different tiers had quite a range of weather from some of the talks we've been having in the Discord. So rain is not guaranteed, but also I wouldn't expect the race to be 100% dry either. Assetto Corsa does like to throw up weather in all sorts of random ways sometimes.
Absolutely.
And today we also feature a lot of different cars. We have quite a lot of Aston Martins, a lot of Ferraris, of course, some McLarens, some Mercedes, a few Porsches, and a single Audi, and a single Nissan.
Absolutely. So, yeah, if we go back to some of our Season 1 races, we did have that, didn't we? We had practice, which was raining, we had the qualifying nice and dry, and then we had the race that was just an absolute storm. So, yeah, anything can happen.
Yeah, I guess we had that 3 times in Season 1, I guess.
We did, yes. So we've got Tom Pottage from Open Visor Racing Club here. I believe he's in a team of 2 today.
Yes, he is in a team of Tom Pottage, himself, of course, and Sebastian Brunet in the Aston Martin Vantage.
And I have just received a notification that there will be a server restart in just over a minute's time. So as we get towards the end of free practice, we will have a server restart, a 20-minute qualifying session to account for the drivers having to rejoin. But then from that point onwards, it should be smooth sailing.
Yes, one can hope. And there we go. Yeah, so we have just been disconnected from there, so I will be back shortly, guys. Just leave you with that one. I hope I haven't got to restart the game, otherwise it's going to be a nightmare again.
So, of course, guys, this is a test race that we are doing to see how Assetto Corsa Competizione can handle endurance races. We've said that going into 2020, we want to host 6, 12, and hopefully even a 24-hour race at some point. We will be hoping that by the time the 6 and 12-hour races get hosted, we will have some new tracks to look forward to, with the Intercontinental GT DLC being released in early 2020, or at least that's the way it's been forecast so far. So we should hopefully have some pretty exciting endurance races coming over the next few months.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and just to inform you, the race numbers that all the drivers have, they have chosen them themselves, so that doesn't indicate their skill level or something like that. They've chosen that themselves, so we also don't have a continuous line of 1, 2, 3. For example, we have one driver with number 1, but that was also free to choose. So not a single number on the cars today indicate anything about the performance.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like Andre Frankie's out at the moment.
All right, and there our qualifying session starts. 20 minutes for the drivers to get their best lap time. Well, as we've got a 3 hours race, the qualifying won't be that much important compared to our regular season. But you still want to have a good result, as this helps you a lot for getting a better race result.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, in an endurance race, you don't want to be starting well at the back of the field. As you said, qualifying not as important because the race is longer. It's more about staying alive over the course of the first 10-15 minutes when it's going to be all absolutely crazy.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you definitely don't want to be starting down 30th place or something like that, or even well into the middle of the pack, because that can set you up for so many problems in the first few opening laps. So not going to be as important, but still want to qualify as high up as you can to not get involved in any trouble.
Yeah, reason for that is mainly the Constantina effect that you've got when many cars enter the same corner and they all slow down and get closer to each other, and that's where the danger can happen, as not every driver stops at the same brake marker.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll see how that goes. We've got a full formation lap anyway. Obviously, whoever gets gets pole for the qualifying will obviously lead that formation lap. They are obviously told that once they get around to the second to last corner, they've got to slow back down, so everyone gets back into double file, and then the leader will take them around the final corner up to the finish line, ready for the start of the race. And then yeah, we should be off, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't have any carnage at T1. I think on our main concern is obviously the first chicane. That's the one where things could start to happen, because to be honest, T1's not too bad. A lot of cars could shoot off the track and go wide without obviously causing too much chaos. So at least it's not Monza.
Yeah, it's not Monza, but the first corner is still very tricky to get right, especially with 33 cars going into it at the same time.
Yeah, this is true, but I mean they're not at obviously full throttle from from the last corner, so they won't be at the same high speed as they would be from approaching it from the start finish line. So hopefully that should keep T1 nice and clean.
Someone wrote that the title of the stream on YouTube is misspelled, so maybe have a look at that.
Oh no, that means I'm going to restart it if that's the case. Don't tell me that, what's happened?
And yeah, Peppy, or how his name is pronounced, I don't know, is curious how many teams will finish without crashing a single time. This will be very interesting to see, and also to see the different approaches from all the teams. It should be the main goal for all the teams to finish the race, and that is also a requirement for that race to enter it. We want everyone to finish the race, even if they have a crash and have some damage. They should be able to go back to the pits and repair the car. Well, sometimes you just don't want to go further on and just retire, because you're so far down the road.
Absolutely. Guys, just going to quickly restart the stream. Literally, we're back in 2 seconds. That will correct the titles. I don't know why that misspelled. Yeah, and there we go. We're back again. So hopefully that should have fixed the titles. So hopefully we don't have any more issues. Oh dear. We are professionals.
Yes, we are. We've proven that many times.
Absolutely. Right, so Marco Reaper, he's managed to get a 128.9 so far. He's holding P1 currently of the qualifying, with Samir in P2, only just over 600ths of a second slower. We've also got Kevin Siklari there, P3, who's 5/10 slower at the moment, with his fastest lap time of 129.4.
Yes, and something mentioning about crashes, hoping how many people aren't going to have a crash throughout the race. It is worth mentioning that because this is a one-off event, and it is live and it is a test, we are also testing live stewarding today. So we do have a live steward to review all incidents throughout the race and allocate penalties if necessary. So this means that because it's a one-off event, we can't do post-race investigations. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the live stewarding works out. But for everyone's sake, they need to keep it clean.
Absolutely. But yeah, anything can happen. That's the main thing. So yeah, that's a good thing about this. Obviously, you know, we have the tools now to let's say do the live stewarding. So hopefully, if anyone is misbehaving, they will either get a time penalty or a drive-through. That is literally down to us to decide. So Marco Ripper's still holding the P1 at the moment. It was 128.9.
And only the first driver of every team is allowed to qualify today. So every driver that appears on top of their team qualifies for their team.
Yeah,
and they also have to start the race.
Absolutely. So I just see that Andre Frankie has now managed to get pole now for 128.5. That's put him over 3 tenths faster than Marco Ripper at the moment. So Andre's in the pits at the moment. He is starting to come back out, so he might be trying to improve his lap time. Marco Reaper has just gone into the pits. So we'll just put up the second stream so you guys can see who's in the pits at the moment. So Marco Reaper has just gone into the pits at the moment.
And if you want to have a look at the spotter guide yourself, I've just posted it in the stream or in the chat of Twitch, and also posted on YouTube, so that you can have a look at all the teams yourself.
Excellent, that's the spotter guide. Awesome, thank you for that, Fabian. So yeah, thanks again, Fabian, for obviously creating that spotter guide. It's very professional looking. So yeah, do check that out so you give an idea of the drivers and the teams. So we've just got 11.5 minutes left of the qualifying, and then the 3-hour race begins. There seems to be a lot of stuff going through your mic at the moment.
Okay.
Interference for some reason. So Samir's just taken P1 there, so he's now managed a lap time of 128.4, which put him just over 1/10 faster than Andre Frankie, which also now pushed down Marco Reaper down to P3, with who's now just under 5 tenths behind. So looks like the Porsche is doing pretty well here at Zolder. So currently we have 32 cars on track at the moment. And I believe we have about 84, 85 drivers signed up in total. So like I said, there'll be a mixture of 2 and 3 drivers per team. So if you're in a 3-man team, that basically means the longest stint you can do is 70 minutes before you have to get into the pits and do a driver swap. And if you're a 2-man team, the longest stint you can do is 1 hour and 20, but before you have to change drivers. But if you're going to go out for that long, then obviously you need to think about some fuels, where you go back in and pit for fuel for that time. But it is a 2-stop mandatory pit stop in this race, so everyone has to stop twice. There is no pit window either, so it is just literally down to drivers when they decide to go and pit.
So I just changed my settings of my microphone a minute ago. Is it better?
Yeah, that's much better. There's not as much interference going through now, so thank you for that, Fabian.
Just tell me when it is again.
Yeah, when you was talking then, you was like cutting in and out a bit then, so I don't know if that's some sort of...
Yeah, that's just the way I have to do it.
Just seeing some of the people talking in chat about the liveries that we have here today. We do have quite a big variety of colours on the grid, and some, in my opinion, more attractive than others. But it's great to see so much diversity on the grid, not just in terms of cars but liveries as well. And of course, the teams running here today that have come out in their own custom liveries. I think Racing Line and a few other teams here today running their team colours.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, it's great that you can see you using custom liveries here.
And we've also got some esports team, just like our Red Line Motorsport esports team, or just like name was it again? It's Racing Line Motorsport, so pretty equal to Red Line Motorsport, but a bit different. Which is full Italian team with 3 teams today.
Absolutely, I've noticed that there's quite a lot of Porsche and Ferraris in today's race as well.
Yeah, they seem to be the more popular car here for Zolder. I mean, the Porsche and the Ferrari are 2 very popular cars in GT racing anyway, so it's not unusual to see a large amount of them. We do have, of course, a few Aston Martins and Mercedes throughout the grid as well. Less so with, of course, the Nissans and the McLarens, but and even the Bentleys. But it is still nice to see more than just 1 or 2 cars dominate the grid, as you do occasionally see in some other endurance series on other platforms.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. So Kevin Solari is Racing Line Motorsport. Is the camera broken? I don't know what's going on. Oh, he's just coming out the pits. Well, looks it.
So as we have just under 6 minutes of qualifying remaining, it is Samir Ibrahimi and Joe McCauley's number 20 Porsche that heads the timing screens, with the McLaren of Andrew Franke just behind them. So it's somewhat of a larger gap between those two to the rest of the chasing pack for qualifying, but as we mentioned before, qualifying is not everything for a race like this, and
absolutely, you know, you're only as good as your teammate. You know, so it's consistency is the main key here. And as we said to a lot of people, you know, the race is not won from T1 at the start. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see on what people's pit strategy is going to be.
Someone just asking, how do you pronounce the Spanish team? The Spanish team that we have competing here today is pronounced Espabilao Racing Team. So it's quite nice to see the Spanish team. I think they're the only two Spanish drivers we have on the grid, so nice to see them pairing up together. And of course, they are one of the two McLarens on the grid, I believe it is.
Could well be, yeah.
Um,
There's only a couple, I believe.
3 McLarens, I think it is. Yep.
Oh yes, 3, sorry.
And yeah, you're correct with saying that we only have 2 Spanish drivers today.
Yep, so that's the pairing of Sergio Ortuño and Adrian Garcia, so going to be nice to see how they'll be going on throughout the race. Of course, I do try and remain neutral for as long as I can, but having lived in Spain for for a period of time, I will have a bit of support for them in the back of my head, quietly. So, going to be interesting to see how they do. As well as the Silverback Racing team, the South African team, going to be interesting to see how they do here as well today.
Yeah. Regarding endurance events, yes, we have more planned for 2020. So we are looking. I mean, today's more of a test to make sure the drivers swaps all that's working. And so any sort of bugs we get today, you know, we can speak to the devs and hopefully get them ironed out. But yeah, we are planning obviously 6, 12 and 24-hour endurance races for 2020. So yeah, do keep an eye out on that, guys, on the website and stuff. So yeah, if you guys haven't visited the website, it is redlinemotorsport.co.uk. So do check that out, and you can see all the races and stuff we do across different sims. So yeah, we do race pretty much 7 days a week.
Yeah, Puawe, or how he is pronounced in the Twitch chat, also points out that we've got a full Andorra team today. I don't even know where Andorra is. I guess it's between France and Spain, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yes, it's situated on. It's situated in the middle of Spain and France on a mountain range, pretty much. But yeah, I think the name Race for Cat is from. It's supposed to mean Catalonia, which is a province within Spain. So I think that's what the name stands for more. But they are technically a Spanish team. So I guess we do have 2 Spanish teams competing on the grid, even if they are racing under a different name.
Absolutely, yeah. So I've got the leaders so far of the qualifying at the top right corner there. Samir still holding P1 at the moment as we just flick through the grid, and Seven gets a little bit of screen time.
Yeah, White Line just asking if we will organize another endurance race in the future. And yes, if this event goes well, then we will for sure do some 6-hour, 12-hour, or maybe even a 24-hour race. But that's part of the future. And now we've got this 3-hour race today in Zolder.
Absolutely, yeah.
1 minute and 20 left in qualifying for all the drivers. So the current top 10 is Sami Ibrahimi in the first place with his Redline Motorsport esports team. Second place goes to Andre Franke from Bratkartoffeln Racing. So then the third place goes to Bruno Cadile, or how he is being pronounced. We will have plenty of opportunities to mess up the right pronunciation of names today, I guess. But well, yeah, Bruno Cadile is in third position with his Silverback Racing team, so he is the South African team, or his team is the South African team. Then we've got Vicky, who just jumped in fourth position, is our driver for the second RLM esports team. Then there's Mark Ripper rounding off the top 5 with his Porsche in the GC Racing team. With 2 Germans and the only Turkish driver today.
Absolutely. So yeah, we've got the last 10 seconds of qualifying, and we've got a little bit of overtime for people to finish their final lap. So this is where things could get mixed up a bit here. So Andre Franke is in the pits at the moment. We have got Bruno Cadile at the moment, who is slightly up on his time. So it looks like Samir did manage to go a bit faster than on his lap time there, 128.2, just under. So we'll see if Bruno can improve. So he did improve by 2/10 off his time there, but still keeps P3. So Andre Frankie still holds P2, and Samir holds P1. So Vicky is still out as well, currently in P4. So she looks to be down by 2/10 at the moment, so I don't think she'll be making any improvements there. So she didn't, but Marco Reaper did manage to make an improvement and get P4 for Vicky, so just taking him just under 4/10 off the leader. So there we are, guys, with the final standings there. Let's see if I can show every car. There we go. So yeah, 32 cars on grid. Got 4 minutes for them to warm up, get their cars all set up and stuff, and then we should be away for a full formation lap.
Yeah, so for those just interested, the top runners, the top 6 were doing 128 lap times. Then it was from 7th place down all the way to 19th was in the 129s. And then back from that, from 20th place to 25th is people in the 130. So we do seem to have a few groups of cars that we might see throughout the race after the first 15-20 minutes when people do start to space out. But the upper end of the midfield looks to be really, really close.
Just
Absolutely,
some very interesting trivia I just found out. We've got a very perfectly split strategy or teams today, as we've got 60 teams with 2 drivers and 6 with 3 drivers. So of course the teams with the 2 drivers will have a little bit will get a little bit more stress tested today, as either one of those 2 drivers has to do a 3rd stint, or they do it a bit more fairly between the drivers, and everyone gets 2 stints, but then they have to drive less, of course. And the 3 drivers, their strategy will be very straightforward. Of course, when no crashes or incidents happen, of course, then every driver will just drive one hour today.
Absolutely, yeah. So I've just set up a static camera there for the top. This will be used mainly to keep an eye on T1 for the start formation lap, and when we do start the first lap. So thank you for the cheers there, guys. Really appreciate that. Do keep them coming. So still got one guy in the pits at the moment.
So with sorry, I was just saying, with 32 cars on the grid, it is going to be chaos down into turn 1. We're going to have to make sure that there is a lot of order with backing up the field. That is an issue that we did experience in the Assetto Corsa GT3 Championship that we have happening on bi-weekly Fridays. So we're going to have to make sure that people do back up the grid so that we do at least get a proper start this time around.
Absolutely, yeah. So spotters guys back on screen there, guys, for you to have flick through again. Unfortunately, regarding the HUD, as someone's just said there, we can't do much about the size of the standings board on the left there. Unfortunately, it only shows 24 cars. It doesn't show all 32, unfortunately.
And Simon, you just said that someone was in the pits still, and that seems to be an issue with the broadcasting tool, as
Oh, yeah.
the driver who is shown on the pits is Torkel Forrester, but he shouldn't be starting either. So it's just the third driver. John Wales is actually on the grid in 20th position, but
Okay.
with the wrong race number. But he is on. That counts.
Wow, fair enough.
So 36 seconds left. All the drivers will start to feel the pressure now, especially in the formation and at the start of the race. Their blood will get pumped, will be pumped.
Absolutely. It's not so much the formation lap I'm worried about, it's more the first lap. Like I said, well, as Samir is in pole at the moment, he'd be the one that would be controlling the speed of the formation lap with the guys as they come around the final corner once they get back in the double file, so everyone should bump back up nicely and then to begin the race as fair as possible. So Samir is off first of all. So this is where everyone should start to fall back into single file and start to warm their tyres and brakes up.
Alright, so Simon, you can have a look at the front of the grid. I will have a look at the back of the grid, and maybe Ryan, you can have a look at the middle of the grid, so that we have coverage of all three places.
Absolutely. I'll just put it onto that screen for a minute, guys, so you've got a better understanding of what's going on there with T1. So far, everyone's been quite clean around T1 for the formation lap. Okay, that one's right. So everyone is starting to behave. They need to spread out a bit more, really. They don't really need to stay into double file. They should start to get into single file, really, and spread themselves out and get the tyres and that warmed up.
Yeah, and
so far, so
just a bit of a reminder today for anyone who was not here when it was mentioned, we do have live stewarding happening today in this race. So that does mean that if anyone is involved in an accident and the stewards believe that a penalty is necessary, it will be handed out in the way of a drive-through penalty or time penalties added on in pit stops or towards the end of a race. So we will have stewards in place to prevent punt and passes. So it's going to be something that we are testing, of course. It's the first time we're going to be using it here today, so it's going to be interesting to see how that works out, but it is going to encourage people to keep it clean out there today.
absolutely, and hopefully we don't have to use it. So yeah, but yeah, we do have, like I said, the power to obviously give people time penalties or drive-throughs if they do cause a bit of carnage. So we should start to come to the second to last corner shortly. So this is where Samir should start to hold back and let everyone get back into double file now. So this is where everyone should start to bunch back up. So we just double check to make sure everyone is sort of catching back up. So far so good. So almost get back into their positions. They need to be on the same side they started with on their formation. So
Line, go, go, go.
there we are. So Samir is still holding P1 at the moment, taking everyone into T1. But looks like a couple of people have gone off track there at the moment, as we can see
There
on the
was-
top screen.
There was contact between one of the silver Aston Martins and a Ferrari, and that caused some people to have to go off track to avoid that. So that's going to be something that will be investigated for sure.
Back of the grid was surprisingly very clean.
Yeah, it's not looking too bad at the moment. It's just unfortunate to see that in the top screen there where a few people were going off track.
Just having a look back at the replay for the turn 1 exit. It was the number 197 Bentley that got caught up with the 777 Aston Martin, which tagged the 330 war. Was it 331? So one of the red Ferraris that got tagged. So there will be an investigation into that. It was a very early lunge into turn 1.
Interesting. So yeah, Samir is currently 1.3 seconds ahead of Andre Frank at the moment for P2. Which is he was currently in P2. So I've still got a nice train so far of cars. So this is a 3-hour race. So unfortunately, we did have a couple of incidents at the start of T1 there, but again, we've got a 3-hour race here, so anything can happen in the next 3 hours with driver swaps and stuff like that. So this is why we do say we do take it nice and easy lap 1, just to try and prevent things like that from happening. But generally, that wasn't too bad, especially for the first chicane as well. Very, very clean for the first chicane, which is good to see. So hopefully that should be the last of any sort of major incidences that we see. So yeah, welcome to the stream, guys. Don't forget, if you are watching us, don't forget to follow us on Twitch and like and subscribe on YouTube, because we are streaming to both platforms. Be much appreciated. So we've got a long 3-hour race ahead of us. So I hope all the other commentators are comfy and got plenty of snacks beside them.
No snacks for me.
Well, the main thing is, as long as you've got plenty of fluid, that's the main key.
Yeah, I've just, a lap ago, I've just witnessed an overtake from Tobias Quack against Francisco Gonzalez. So, already starting to move up the grid a bit.
So Francisco Gonzalez moved up to P8, so that's good to see there.
No, actually, Tobias Quack switching positions with Francisco Gonzalez. So Tobias Quack moving a position up.
Excellent. So it looks like we might have had an incident there with car 5. So with Eric Eggman there at the first chicane. So right, let's have a quick look at that, see what happened. Let's see one of the cars go off slightly off track then, as I did pan the camera around.
Yep, I can look into that for you.
Jumping back to Samir at the moment, he's really opened that gap up so far. 2 seconds ahead now of Andre Frankie. But as I said, this is very early on in the race, so like I said, anything can happen, pit strategies and stuff like that. So
yeah, so Samir opening up a gap, but the two drivers behind him are very close together. So there are 3 cars in between 1 second. And the number 88 Mercedes AMG GT3 car just getting very close to Andre Franke in the McLaren.
just jump back over to that to see what's going to happen there with Bruno. So thanks for the follow there, guys. Really appreciate that.
But you guys will notice how hard it is to pass on the track. during the race. Especially the top drivers there won't leave a single centimeter open for overtaking, which makes it quite hard on that narrow track to overtake someone. So maybe the pit strategies might get a bit more important today.
Absolutely, yeah. It is literally all down to pit strategy today. Like I said, especially for the two-man team as well, because obviously, you know, they can drive up to 120 minutes before having to drive a change. So they obviously got to decide when and where they decide to refuel the car.
And sadly, there has been an incident between Lubomir Zeman and was it? So Lubomir Zeman just has been spun out by another Ferrari, which
I believe that's car 38, isn't it? Car 38 and car 53.
So Lubomir Zeman is car number 221. The other one
That's just going for highlights, yeah.
should be fifth. Shouldn't be. Don't know. Maybe Dixon Hurst. Don't know. I haven't seen it that properly, to be fair.
Right.
Someone's just
I
gonna
do
drive.
have some. Sorry to interrupt, but I do have some news. Car 5 and car 555 were involved at an incident at the first chicane. That incident is being investigated. Car number 197 has been given a drive-through penalty for collision with car 777 and 221.
Nice, so there we are. So unfortunately, drive through there already, so very early on in the race, causing that collision.
So, and he also starts to serve the drive-through. After the drive-through, he pretty much will be at the back of the grid. And such a penalty will hinder your chances at getting a good position, of course, as he basically has to be one more time on at the pits than the other drivers. Well, he doesn't have to stop there, just have to drive through. That's why it is called drive-through penalty. But with these GT3 cars, where you have to drive 50 kilometers per hour in the pits, it's quite a lot of time lost. And there he is, clearing the drive-through.
Yeah, very, very true. But I mean, at least it's not a very long pit like Spa, so
Oh
it
yeah,
could be
of course.
worse.
In Spa you lose around, or in Spa you will spend around 1 minute and 20 seconds in this pits. So quite twice or thrice as long as this pit lane. So it isn't that hard, yeah. But still, he is at the back of the grid now with a 23 second. Oh no, wait, a 10-second gap to Jaime Olivier.
Absolutely.
So from the middle of the grid to the back of the grid. And it looks like that Sami Raimi lost some of his gap. He is now back to 1.5 seconds to the car behind him, which is under the flanker.
Yeah, he actually dropped just under 1 second, down to about 9 tenths behind Andre Frank, but now managed to gain another 6 tenths back up from what he just lost. So yeah, he was just over 2.1 seconds ahead of Andre Frankie, but I can just see now as the time's just updated, he's only 1.4 seconds ahead of Andre Frankie in P2.
Just a quick update for you guys. Car 5 and car 555 that had a collision at the first chicane. That was due to a hold-up of cars that were slowing down and grouping up together. So the stewards have had a look at the incident and they've decided that no penalty is required, just a racing incident.
Excellent, that's good to know. So not too bad actually for the first 10 minutes of racing, really. We've only had a couple of incidences, obviously one penalty given so far. So far so good.
It has been kept relatively clean. Only one penalty needed to be handed out so far. There wasn't much in the way of accidents on the first lap either, so that's quite good.
just want to work our way back through the grid at the moment because too many people battling out at the moment. Closest guy we have at the moment is P10, so we'll jump over to them in shortly. So we might get a bit of an overtake from these two in a minute.
Yeah, just watching the timing boards down in 26th place, there is a train of about 5 cars at the moment, and the number 221 Ferrari looking to get past the number 38 Aston Martin into turn 1. The Aston Martin holds his line on the outside and the Ferrari can't get through, so that was good defending there from the Aston Martin.
So far so good. Ferrari is also trying again to get past the Aston now. It looks like Ferrari has now managed to get the pass. So that now puts Dixon Hurst back down to P27. Let's see, go over the start finish.
Yeah, and he was wide on the exit after the second chicane, so it is probably going to be Eric Engman who now looks to get past the number 30 Aston Martin, but he has pressure behind from Vodka in the 46 Ferrari, so he's got to be quite careful here. But these lot here seem to be the closest pack on track at the moment.
Jayski just asking the chat if the stewards investigated that AMG hitting car number 62 in the first corner, so maybe you can answer that, Ryan.
I will query that with the stewards and see what the decision on that has been.
Ball there of Eric Eggman with his front and rear cameras there, so you can see the get pressure from behind as well as trying to catch the line in front. First chicane, Eric just starting to close that gap on the Aston. Looks like he's about to go for the overtake. Does manage to make the pass.
Now, car number 991, which is Marco Ripper, managed to get very close to Bruno Cadillet. They've been quite close together for the entire race so far. The gap in front of car number 88 has increased to around 3.1 seconds, but Cadillet and Ripper have been quite close together the entire time, and it looks like that Ripper is around 0.3 faster in the last lap at least than Cadillet. Marcel Leboeuf just saying I saw a drive-through. So for the question of Darth Jayski, I saw a drive-through being handed, but I don't know if it was that incident, and I can assure you that it was not that incident, as was another race number that I remember there.
Yes, the drive-through penalty was for the 197 Bentley that crashed into the 777 Aston Martin and the 221 Ferrari. So that's what the drive-through penalty that was handed out earlier was.
Yeah, so thanks for clearing that up, Ryan.
Just quickly on the subject of the AMG of Eric Engman, the 555 that hit the number 62 Aston Martin earlier on. has been queried with the stewards, and they believe that there is no penalty necessary because the position was given back, and number 62 is now significantly ahead of 555, so they don't believe a penalty is necessary at this moment.
Now there we are. Guys so far is Kevin Scolari. He's currently P7 at the moment, so we might jump over to him shortly if things don't change where we are at the moment.
And I will have a look at the battle between Marco Ripper and Bruno Cadillac, so I will shout at you if I see an overtake.
We'll just jump over there now because they have actually started to close up the gap there. So this is for P4, P3.
So this battle, as I've already mentioned before, is going on for the entire race, and both of them have some good laps where the other loses a bit of time to the other one, but then the second driver has a good lap time, and now Mark Ripper has a very good run to Bruno Cadillac out of that corner, but that is not enough for him to overtake him. But well, yeah, it's the job Mark Ripper has to do now is to put Cadillac so much under pressure that he eventually does make a mistake and goes off track, or maybe just loses or misses his racing line just by a meter or so, so that he has the chance to overtake him properly.
Absolutely, but the thing is, it's so early on in the race at the moment. You know, we've still got 2 hours 42 minutes of the race. You know, anything can happen in that time. You know, we've got two mandatory pit stops to be done, and obviously depending on the driver as well. Because we said that we've got some teams that have got 2 drivers, other teams have got 3 drivers. And obviously we've got strict rules on how long a stint they can actually do. Depending on the size of their team. So yeah, if they're a 2-man team, they have a maximum stint of 120 minutes. But we know that obviously you're going to empty that tank pretty quickly. You're not going to do 120 minutes without going into the pits to fill up. So this is where pit strategy is going to be very interesting for the 2-man teams. We go on the 3-man teams. They have a 70-minute stint, so there is possible for them to complete 70 minutes of the race without refueling. So yeah, so this is where it's going to get very interesting as we still get rid of the first little hour of the race. This is where things will get mixed up a bit.
And now there was a position change in position 16. John Wales managed to overtake Sergio Ortuño.
Absolutely, Marco is pushing the pressure on. Sorry, you can go ahead there, Mark.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Samir Ibrahimi and Andrew Frankie in the high 128s, the rest of the field in the 130s, and a couple of people dipping into the 129s. So 12 laps into the race, Samir Ibrahimi and Andrew Frankie in the Porsche and the McLaren seem to have the cut around here against the rest of the field, but it is a long way to go. 2 hours and 40 minutes remain.
And the battle between Cadillac and Ripper allowed Vicky to close up on them, so it will be a 3-way battle in a couple of laps now, as Vicky managed to be a whole second faster than them in the last lap, and the lap before that. So she managed to gain 2 seconds in the last 2 laps, which is quite a lot. And now she is at the back of Marco Ripper. And this will get very juicy now.
It sure will, yes. Things could happen.
Just looking down the rest of the field, it was the number 5 car, the Aston Martin, had a moment down at turn 3, so he's gone off track. He is running last at the moment. and he has been lapped by quite a few cars already, so the Garage 59 car not having the race that they would have wanted early on, but there is a long way to go, and there could be some chances for them to still make up some places later in the race.
Absolutely, yeah, guys, just keep an eye on car 28, position 28, Dixon Harris. I'm at the moment on board with Marco Reaper at the moment, as he's having to attack and defend at the same time. So we need to get could be for a chance here. So we could end up gaining 2 positions from this. We've seen this plenty of times when there's a freeway battle going on.
And now the overtake for position 28 has happened, as Alessandro Scott Namilio overtook Dixon Hurst. And just to remind you, the car number 197 is that one that got handed out penalty, the drive-through penalty. So he is now on the hunt for the better positions.
I see, so yeah, so he has managed to overtake Dixon Harris. Battles going on at the moment. Just try and capture the right ones.
Car number 88, Bruno Cadelli, went a bit wide to the dirt, which allowed Marco Ripper to close up on him. He's now only 2/10 behind him, just right at the back of him. But that is not enough to overtake him. Yes, so Marco Ripper just saw that Bruno Cadelli can be put under pressure, as he's just done a mistake. So that's a good sign for Marco Ripper, as he just has to constantly put that pressure up to Bruno Cadelli.
He sure has, but he's also got to defend there because Vicky was right on his tail then, so we'll have to see.
Yeah,
if,
she's
Vicky can get the
just
pass.
coming through there on the inside.
And Vicky looks like she has made the pass. It's a great racing there by Vicky. So this is what I mean with having a freeway battle here. Marco Reaper obviously ended up losing the position there because obviously he was trying to attack and defend at the same time.
Yeah, and he just had a little bit of wheel spin, enough wheel spin to allow Vicky to overtake Marco. And now Vicky has the task to overtake Bruno Cadelli, where Marco Ripper had a tough time. And do I look right? Wait, Sami Ibrahimi is just in front of Bruno Cadelli, so something must have happened with Sami Ibrahimi. And there are 2 blue flagged cars in front of him, so maybe something happened with those. As Andre Franke is now in the first position, just 6.4 seconds in front of Ibrahimi.
Yeah,
so
6.9 on the stream at the moment, so yeah, that is interesting to see.
I have just checked the replays on that, and it was coming into the first chicane. Sami Ibrahimi clipped one of the anti-cut curbs on the exit and flung his car into the wall. So that's why he's lost all that time. So he probably does have damage on that car as well. So it's going to be interesting to see if he feels the need to pit right.
Yeah, currently he was 6.9 seconds, now down to 6.7, which is 6.8 seconds behind Andre Franke. So hopefully he hasn't taken too much damage there, so hopefully he can carry on with his the full stint he was going to be doing and not lose too much time. As I say that, as he's now got up to almost 7 seconds behind Andre Franke.
Yes, and we talk about mistakes in the Porsche Supercut race, and obviously the Friday Championship that we do have as well. In an endurance race, mistakes are, well, they can cost you so much more than in a regular race, especially if you get heavy damage to a car. So, yeah, at the moment, just over 25 minutes in, Andre Franke has been handed the lead. But he's going to have to make sure he keeps himself out of the barriers as well if he wants to keep that lead.
Absolutely, yeah. I just jumped over to Libor in the Ferrari. He is starting to put the pressure on Andre Mol here for P26. So it seems to be at the first chicane where people are sort of getting the advantage to get the overtakes here, but Libor is playing it quite safe, as he looks like he has got the inside, almost had the inside line there as they come over the hill.
So looking at the last lap time of Samuel Ibrahimi, he was just 2/10 slower than Andre Franke, so I guess he just has to find his rhythm again, and I don't think that he has damaged his car too much. But once he finds that rhythm, maybe he can fight back at Andre Franke.
So it looks like Libor has managed to get ahead of Andre Mol now, so he's managed to get that P26 off him. We'll just wait for the timing boards to change when they go to the start finish line. So it's a nice clean overtake there by Libor.
Yeah, it's been relatively clean so far in the first half an hour of the race. Only one penalty has been handed out so far. 2 incidents that have been investigated but declared racing incidents. So it's been kept quite clean, which is nice to see, and let's hope this can continue for the rest of the race.
Good racing until now. What do you mean until now? It's been up until now. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, it's a shame we didn't get to see what happened at P1 there, but as Ryan did mention, Samir did touch the curb there, which made him send himself into the wall and obviously lose that position and lose 7 seconds off the pace. But the main thing is, it looks like he hasn't got too much damage because his lap times are still... if we look at Andre Franke, he managed to 129, almost dead at the last lap, with Samir on 129.5, so he's 5/10 off the pace at the moment for Andre. So, which obviously is affecting his the overall time between these guys, the gap, so 7.6 seconds between P2 and P1 so far.
And just a few laps time, I guess, in the next lap, Andre Franke has to start to lap some drivers. There are quite a few drivers in front of him now, so his job is now to do that as safe as possible without losing too much time, to not let Ibrahimi gain any time on it.
Yeah, and the first car he has right now to get past is the 197 Bentley, the one that was penalised at the start of the race for causing a collision in turn 1. So the Bentley should not really put up a battle. It's obviously not his fight. He's being lapped at, and he does just pull over to allow the McLaren pass, which is nice to see. But, yes, it's been getting a bit quiet in race control, which I'm glad to report.
Jump in quickly. So Neil Kors has just managed to get the overtake there on Cassie Sol, so he's now put himself up to P17. Which will update shortly once they go to the start finish line.
Now Rafael Kionka attacks Nicolo Balancini and goes on the outside, and they both touched. But Nicolo Balancini managed to stay in front. Looks like they've both touched 2 times. And now they also have to overlap someone. Makes it always a bit trickier if you're in the process of overtaking someone.
Absolutely, yeah.
And just to mention, the 998 of Vicky right on the back of the 88 car in 3rd place, so that could get interesting very, very soon. Obviously, with Samir starting to claw back the time that he lost. It was about 7.6 seconds, but it has now come down to 6.4 Traffic has to be taken into consideration for that, of course. That could have held up Andre Frankie a bit, but he has started to claw back the gap ever so slightly.
Absolutely. With Tom Potteridge at the moment to see if he can change there. He's starting to close the gap on Franco in front, as they have got a lap car in front. It's just made a bit of contact with the lap car, the green Aston. But also again, Franco is obviously trying to make the overtake here on Marvin Wheel, as he managed to, as Marvin Wheel just sent himself off the track. So if there's any contact there between them, which is a case that Martin Well just saw that there is a car beside him and thought, and absolutely bailed it.
Bart_SC2 just reports that the sound is very low, so maybe so maybe you might want to tell us which sound, if it's the overall sound, or if it's the game sound, or if it's our voices are too low, which would help us a bit to identify the problem.
Yeah, you're saying it's overall, but not much I can do this end, because obviously if I turn everything up, it's going to make the game louder than us, you see, so we had to try and get it just right.
Oh, and there's just been contact between the 221 Ferrari and the 62 Aston Martin for 21st place. The Ferrari looking to get past the Aston Martin on the inside of the final corner. Just clipped the Ferrari and has got the position back that he was about to lose. So I would imagine unless he gives up that position within the next few corners, there will probably be an investigation into that.
Absolutely, yeah, maybe a time penalty or something, so...
Okay, so they are telling that one of us is very low compared to the others, so maybe we will just test it quickly. So I will just tell I'm Fabian,
yeah.
And if it's me, then just write Fabian. So, okay, it's not me.
It's when they said it's you. Oh, it's not you. Okay, is it me? Myself, Simon? Just let us know. No.
Okay, then it's most likely Ryan.
It's most definitely me.
Because we have not another person in the commentator's booth.
Interesting. Maybe you're talking a little bit too quiet.
Okay, Ryan is good for Jankovic. So that makes it a bit confusing for us guys.
Oh dear. Oh, we'll get there in the end anyway.
But
Maybe
yeah,
I just need to speak up a bit more.
As we've told earlier, it's we had to put the sound lower because unusual than the other times, Simon had to put down the game sound because all the mix sounds were so low. So don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. I mean, that's the thing. We're running two streams. I'm having to obviously deal with a lot of different audio stuff coming through to make the stream as good as possible. So that's the annoying part when you have to run two streams and two audio sets and two sets of mics and speakers. It's yeah.
And there's someone off track. It was a McLaren.
It was two McLarens actually.
So Chicken Honda Racing with number 69, of course, and another one as well.
Yes, that was
So
Neil's
Sergio
course. Yeah,
Antonio, I guess.
They look like they're racing fine again now. They're back on track racing each other, so maybe just a quick investigation into that and see what's happened there between those two.
Actually, checking the replay, it it was a Bentley that hit the McLaren, and then the second McLaren coming through the chicane spun out and collided into the first McLaren.
Excellent.
So,
Just
very
wanna
interesting.
Awesome, yeah. So just Ryan, just want to let you know there is this car 221. The Fred Ferrari is now back in front of the Aston there, so yeah, it's got the position back. So maybe it's not worth giving him a penalty now for that. We'll have to see.
It looks like that we've missed Victoria Vicky losing her. Oh, just said it again. I'm not allowed to say Victoria Vicky. It looks like that Vicky lost her place to Marco Ripper again. So now Ripper is in front of Vicky, just like at the start of the race. And maybe she had some issue earlier on. I will have a look at her lap times now.
Yeah, it looks like there's no incident reports with her and Marco Ripper, so it just could literally just be a driver error.
Okay, so our viewers now told us that sometimes you, Simon, have been a bit off from the microphone too often. So maybe we'll have
Well,
to...
my mic's stuck to my head, so it doesn't move. Maybe it's just me not talking that loudly.
Oh, that could be it as well.
Right, how about that, guys? Is that better? I don't want to stick my mic right in my mouth because otherwise you'll start hearing me breathe.
Just like in Formula One, where the race engineers have their mics right in front of their mouth. Okay, Robert, we have to push now.
Right, well, whilst you guys discuss microphones in Formula One, I have some news about the 221 and the 62. It has been declared a racing incident, and there will be no penalty for that.
Excellent.
Alright, thank you for staying professional, Ryan.
Brilliant.
Just to let you know as well, the McLaren that got clipped by the Bentley into the first chicane is under investigation, and that will also prompt an investigation into the second McLaren, which collided with the first McLaren after the spin, so that incident is being looked at the moment.
Having a quick look at the front of the grid with Sami Ibrahimi, he managed to close the gap to Franke by about a second, so he's now around 7 seconds off of under Franke. It has been 8 seconds once early on in the race. So it doesn't look like that he has damage, or if he has damage, then it isn't too much damage. And well, he still has 2 hours and 21 minutes left to catch under Franke.
Yeah, interesting. We'll keep an eye on that, won't we?
Yeah. Just as I told you that I will have a look at Vicky's times. So she has been faster earlier on in the race. She is now in the 1 minute 30 times. A 30.1 in the last lap and a 30.4 in the lap before that. So she has been faster earlier.
Yeah, she's still about 9 tenths off her best though, because her best was a 129.2. So, as I say that, as Vicky has just managed to go over the line of a 129.7, so that's 5 tenths off her best lap at the moment. So she is improving.
Yeah, so maybe it was just her tire temperature's going a bit too crazy, and you had to drive a bit more conservatively, or maybe she had to get back in the rhythm again. She seems to have managed.
Awesome. Right, someone's just posted there on YouTube. Please look at car 53. So just check that out, guys. Have a quick look, see what's happening with car 53.
Do you know if that is regarding an incident a lap ago, or...?
I have no clue. It's just VMR TV just saying look at car 53.
Yeah, so VMR TV, please tell us when that incident happened. That would help us a lot.
So I've just increased my mic volume. Just let me know if that's actually better for you guys and I'm not peaking too much. Is that too loud?
Okay, it looks
It's
like
nicer,
that you
right?
are now
Cool.
better. So I hope that it's now good still with us. So, okay, you should gain us up also, Simon. Like Bart suggests. With love.
Yeah, okay, I'll see what I can do there for you. Alright, just let me know how that is for these guys when they start talking.
Hello, test. So, currently Vicky is around 2.3 seconds behind Marco Ripper. So, she has to... At first, she has to manage to get ahead of all those back markers, like Italian names are quite hard to pronounce, but I tried. Sconamiglio, and Wodicka. She has to pass before she can get close to Ripper, but it looks like that she loses a bit of time there compared to Ripper because she can't really lap those guys in front of her.
Yeah, I just noticed that Fernando Silva's in the pits. Has he actually quit? Or is that just my broadcast not showing very well? No.
Sorry, I can just confirm he is out on track. He is not in the pits. He's coming through the first chicane right now.
Okay, that's interesting because I got him showing a car number 25 on the grid as well as number 32. That's going to confuse me later. And obviously the one that says 25 says he's in the pit, so that's where I got the confusion from. So everyone's pretty much spread out a bit at the moment. Not much going on, just with Zimmern for a minute.
So just a quick update for you. The 57 Bentley that was seen to have clipped the number 69 McLaren, the stewards have had a look. The number 69 McLaren lost the car going into the chicane before the Bentley had contact with the McLaren, so there is no further investigation into that. As for the 99 McLaren that spun on his own, he did tap the 69 McLaren, but there was no obvious intent in the accident, so no further investigation for both of those incidents.
Excellent, there we are.
And I've just witnessed a clean overtake in T1 with Lubomir Zeman. No, wait, I get confused. No, who was it? So
I have no clue, there's nothing showing me at the moment.
Oh no, wait, sorry. It was just Frank lapping them, so I've made a mistake. It was not an overtake. Would be quite a bit surprising, I guess, because passing someone on T1 is quite tricky, as I showed everyone in our Season 1, where I crashed with someone trying to overtake in T1.
Yeah, the only really time you could probably get a good position there is if the car in front makes this mistake, goes wide, and then you can take the turn. But
and just looking now, it is Marco Ripper in the 991 Porsche, who is on the back of Cadilhe in the 88 Mercedes. So he has got back, to where he was about 30 minutes ago, which is on the back of the Mercedes due to the mistake Vicky made earlier. So he's now going to look to get up into P3. But Sameh Ibrahimi is still losing time to Andre Franchi. So whether that is due to damage or a lack of confidence in the car, we don't know. But either way, Andre Franchi in the McLaren is still stretching a lead.
RTV just asking where Scon Emilio is, and I can tell you that he's in P27 at the moment after he took his drive-through penalty. He was at the back of the grid, and he fought back to P27 now, and it's like that he is around 2 seconds behind the P26 guy. So he is coming closer and closer to some good positions for him.
Absolutely, yeah. So we've got a few back markers here now in the mix, which is going to make it more confusing for us.
Yep, so as we are 46 minutes into the race, I am glad to report that despite the incidents that we have had, only one penalty has had to be handed out so far, so everyone keeping it fairly clean at the moment, as I've just seen a replay of the 555 car of Eric Engman going off track.
Awesome, yeah. So Samir is losing a lot of time now. He's down to 8.8 seconds off of P1, so his gap is opening up more and more, unfortunately. So just jump over to the race leader at the moment, who's having to fight off some of the back markers.
Oh, and something to watch for the stewards. Car number 99, Sergio Ortuño, just touched with another car, which I have a look which
Is that
it
car
was.
99 and car 69 by the looks of it? It's just popped up on my highlights.
And was a black Aston Martin. No wait. Sorry, it was the orange McLaren.
Yes, the two McLarens coming together by the looks of it, that will definitely have to be looked at by the steward.
And if I remember correctly, that is a repeat of an earlier incident. We already had that with those two drivers.
Yeah, you're right there. We have, yes. So that will have to be further investigated to check to see what's going on there.
Yeah, so now is the time for for teams with two drivers. If they want to do with a 3-stop, so that every driver gets the equal amount of time in the race, then it's their time to pit now. But as I guess that nobody pitted right now, I guess that everyone that is running a two-driver team will just do 2 pit stops, where one driver is doing 2 hours of racing and the third one is doing 1 hour of racing.
Yeah, like I said, so we've got about 10 minutes left of the, also 11 minutes left of the first third of the race. So in the next sort of 20 minutes, we should start to see people going into the pits for their driver change, especially for the 3-man team. Maybe not so much for the 2-man team, but we'll see how they are getting on with their fuel levels and stuff. And obviously, depending on the engine maps these guys are running to, whether to save themselves a bit of time having to go into the pits to save that fuel. Yeah, it's interesting to see what happens there. Maybe one of you two guys can have a quick look to see sort of their engine maps and stuff that some of them are running, to see if everyone is just literally flat out an engine map 1.
I will have a...
And sorry to interrupt you, I've just seen the number 46 Ferrari is just rejoining the track. He went well wide into one of the corners in the last sector.
So that's Libor, yeah, Libor.
I will have a look at that in the replays, but
So
not sure if he was trying to move over for lapped cars or not.
I don't know, but he's gone into the pits. He has got some front end damage by the looks of it, so he's into the pits now. Maybe he's going to jump in there, get repairs, and do his driver swap now. That could be interesting.
Okay, yes, he has. Coming out of the second chicane, he went wide and has hit the barrier, so he's definitely got damage on that car. So that might explain why he has brought it in straight away into the pit.
Yeah, so it looks like his stint might have ran a bit short there, as he, as I imagine he would be doing a driver swap now as well, because I believe these guys are in a three-man team, aren't they?
So it looks like that most of the drivers are in engine map 1, and if they are not in engine map 1, then they are in engine map 8, at least most of the Porsches, which means they are in a quali mode. So quite a lot of power for them, I guess.
Yeah, so basically they are in there, the highest map then for the cars, the most aggressive, should we say.
And Adam Izaljovic suggesting us that we might want to enable the replays for the second screen, but I can tell you that this might be a bit tricky for Simon, as he has to manage both cameras at the same time.
Yeah.
So so all that you see on the screen, he has to manage. He has to change all the cameras and the cars himself for both screens. So
Yeah, so
I guess that it will be a little bit too much to handle it.
yeah, unfortunately, I've got two PCs here. I mean, it'd be too much. I mean, one screen's a 4K screen, and I've got a shed load of windows open on that to keep it allowing information. And obviously on my second PC, yeah, it'd be too much for me to manage with two mouse and two keyboards to try and put the replays on the second one, unfortunately. Yeah, if I had an extra pair of hands here, then yeah, I could do that. But unfortunately, I don't.
Okay, so as I, sorry to interrupt lads, but as I was mentioning that we've had it fairly clean so far and a lack of penalties, we have just been given a boatload of penalties in a short space of time. So, car 99, which was the silver McLaren, collided with 69. Car 69 lost 4 places. The stewards have given car 99 a 5-second time penalty to be added onto his stop. As for some other cars, the number 46 Ferrari that had a bit of a collision with the wall, that has been given a stop-go penalty of 30 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. And the 665 Ferrari has been given a drive-through for the same reason.
Oof. Yeah, still early on in the race, so if you're getting penalties, really. Yeah, it's definitely going to be changing things.
Yeah, Adam just answered. I understand completely. Just a suggestion. Sadly, nobody online can help. I would. So yeah, I already have an idea how to maybe do that with 2 people instead of only one person doing both screens. But we will have a look at it after this event, maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very tricky. I mean, the only way we can do that is if we had plenty of people around at the same time to control the cameras like they do in real life. You know, where you got the controllers to do those sort of things.
Yeah, that would make it very easy then.
Absolutely. So, unfortunately, yeah, we have to do what we can do, which is still better than just a single screen anyway. I mean, I can obviously put the replays on the main screen. That would be easier for me because that's the one I'm mainly sat in front of. So yeah, I could look into doing that. So not too much action across the board at the moment. We've got a few people in the pits now. So Tom Potteridge is in the pits. We have Hampus Merlin, who's P22, is in the pits.
Yeah, just while you're mentioning about people in the pits, the 665 Ferrari has cleared his drive-through penalty, and so has the number 46 Ferrari. He has cleared his 30-second stop-and-go penalty, so both of those have been served. Garcia in the 99 McLaren is still yet to serve his 5-second penalty, but that will be served when he pits.
That's it, yeah. So Kevin Strut's just jumped into the stream and say he doesn't recommend doing it alone. So he understands how hard it is to manage 2 streams at the same time. Or 2 camera sets at the same time, yeah. So Andre Franke's now 11.4 seconds ahead of Samir for P1. So Samir's definitely losing a lot of time, so he must have taken a bit of damage. We'll jump over to his car and see if we can see any sort of damage on there, but...
Or maybe he just loses more time behind the back markers than
yeah, it looks like he's got a bit of front end damage. I'm sure they went over a bump, then the front bumper sort of bounced a bit there.
Just to keep you in the loop, Vicky in the 998 is in the pit lane, as is Quack in the 969 Porsche. So both of those in the pit lane for a driver swap, I would imagine.
Actually, yeah, John Wales has just gone in for P15 there. He's also gone into the pits. So this is where it starts.
Looks like that Quack managed to jump Vicky in the pits there.
Yeah, 696 just got a stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane then.
Yep, so as you just said, 969 has been given a 30-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That will probably explain why came out ahead, but despite that, that's unfortunately going to hand him quite a big loss of time, because he wasn't the 969 was actually doing quite well up until this point.
Yeah.
And there is the driver change for car number 998, so now Chris Höke is driving instead of Vicky, so I guess Vicky will do the third stint as well. But now it's Chris' turn to move up to Mark Ripper and Bruno Cardile.
So Sebastian Buhner is starting to put the pressure on Eric Eggman for P18 at the moment. We say that as it looks like one of the Ferraris has just pulled ahead.
Oh, and it looks like that Vicky is now exactly a lap behind Marco Ripper, as she is just behind him on the straight there, on the Stafford straight. So it looks like that a pit stop takes around 1 minute and 30 seconds, I guess, or maybe a bit less. Maybe somewhere around 1 minute and 20 seconds. And Andre Franke and Sami Ibrahimi are now in the pits as well.
That's interesting, yeah.
So I guess Andre Franke will now switch places with Mike Noble. And Sami Ibrahimi should change his place with Taha Ali, who is in place for Joe McCauley today because he can't be there today, sadly.
That's it, yeah. So Andre Frank is in the pits, Samir is in the pits as well. Got Marvin Wheel in the pits, Christian Wheel's gone into the pits, and Tommy is P20's in the pits as well.
Yep, and we have just been notified that there is a drive-through penalty for car number 13, the Aston Martin, for speeding in the pit lane, so that will have to be served within the next 3 laps. So a lot of people not obeying the speed limit in the pit lane, it seems, and they are having to pay the price because of it.
Absolutely, yeah. This is going to get confusing now, because I just see that now Chris Hokey's in the car, of Vicky's car. We've got Chris Hokey shown in the standards there to the left, but it still shows Victoria Vicky in the bottom right. So that's probably confuse some of us commentators shortly. So yeah, Kevin, if you're in the stream, that's probably something you want to look into. I think hopefully that we get that sort of rectified. That the drivers do change names, otherwise it's going to get confusing for us. So yeah, just a small bug that we've just found there. But looking at the driver swaps, I have sort of been running quite smoothly so far. So far so good. So yeah, we're now into the second third of the race now. So 2 hours, just under 2 hours left of the race. So there should be one more pit stop for most of the guys now. So it is two stop mandatory pit stops.
And the number 13 Aston Martin is into the pit lane to serve his drive-through penalty. So as soon as he did receive it, he is back into the pit lane to serve it. The one thing you've got to be careful of is that you don't pick up a drive-through serving a drive-through. Something that a lot of people often end up doing with the frustration that you can have of being given a drive-through penalty is that, sometimes it can... the red mist can descend upon you a bit, but he seems to have cleared it no problem, and he's going to carry on. He rejoins in 29th.
Looks like that Mark Ripper extends his stint there a bit, as he is still out there. Maybe he just wants to take advantage of a clear track, but
possibly. Is he in a three-man team? Is he?
Mark Ripper 991. I guess he's in a three-man team. Yes.
Yeah. So he's literally got 7 minutes left then to obviously pit. Otherwise he'd get disqualified, wasn't he? Because it's 70 minutes maximum stint he can do. So yeah, he's got 7 minutes left of that. So do keep an eye on that, guys.
Yeah, Kevin, that's what it looks like for us as well.
Yeah.
Leaderboard correct after the first split, but the information on the bottom right corner isn't. And there's Marco Ripper going into the pits and changing his seat.
There we go.
Another pit lane speeding penalty to notify you of. The number 44 Aston Martin has been given a 30-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so another person falls victim to going over the limit in the pit lane, and is going to have to serve that within the next 3 laps.
Yeah, I also just noticed that car 99 has got a plus 5 second penalty as well for something.
Yes, that was for the collision with the 69 McLaren earlier on in the race. He has still yet to pit, so he hasn't served the penalty yet. He will serve it when he does pit for a driver swap.
There we go.
So now after everyone took his pits, will get quite interesting who is ahead of everyone and who maybe gained some positions or lost some.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether to change the standing board on our left so we don't get too confused with back markers and stuff. So it looks like car 44's got a stop and go 30-second penalty. So he's got 2 laps to remaining to take that. Yeah,
Jack,
if we do get the 24-hour Spa race going, that would be absolutely awesome. I think I definitely need an extra pair of hands for that, because I don't fancy sitting in the seat for 24 hours solid trying to maintain 2 computers. It's just, yeah, it's not very practical, especially as I've got kids as well.
Well, it would be quite funny if you just kept on talking and somewhere around in the midnight time you just start sleeping away during the stream.
Absolutely, yeah.
But we definitely would need a broadcasting team, just like in real life where they have teams of broadcasters. Just like with the drivers where they have teams, then we broadcasters need teams as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So I just changed the standard boards there, guys. So we got the guys in blue, obviously back markers. So hopefully we can sort of have a better idea of who's close to who. Thanks for the follow there, guys, as well. Appreciate that. Don't forget to obviously like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitch because we are streaming to both platforms. So much appreciated. Thank you.
And the guys with the Yorich font are those that overlap, or those that are a lap in front of you, or at least a lap in front of you.
Absolutely. So Kevin Scolari's currently holding P1 for the race at the moment. So he's due to pit soon as well. I believe, is he in a 3-man team as well? It's worth just having a quick look.
Yes.
So if that's the case, he's only got 3 minutes 30 seconds left. So we probably want to pit after this lap.
Maybe some bit of clarification. Does he have to do the full stop and then go out of the track for the 1 minute 50 at the 1 hour 50 minutes mark, or
he needs to be he needs to be in the pit lane before the 150 mark.
So he needs to be in the pit lane, but he can get out of the pit lane before the timer runs out.
Yeah, as long as he's in the pits at 150, then he's absolutely fine.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah.
Just to inform you guys, the number 14 Mercedes has been given a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. So there's another drive-through being handed out for pit lane speeding, which seems to be the most common incident of the race so far.
Absolutely. This is a bit of a shame, but yeah.
And as I say that, the number 44 Aston Martin has now pitted to serve his 30-second stop-go penalty, so he will be serving that, then he should be cleared.
There we go. So yeah, Kevin Solari has gone into the pits now, so let's just... so he did have 2 minutes left to go, so all good and jolly.
Okay, it looks like that the team of Sami Ibrahimi and Taha Mali with the car number 20 got jumped in the pits by car number 88 with JC Grobler driving now. So it looks like they've had a shorter pit stop time. Grobler is now around 4 seconds in front of Mali.
Yeah.
Which is something which is also interesting for us, Simon. It looks like that in the HUD that you've now selected, where you can see the relative times, there are shown the stint 1 drivers, and only on the results table there are the current drivers. So under Franke, or on the layout that you've now chosen, Under Franke is driving, but actually it's
actually
Noble.
Mike Noble. Yeah, that's going to get confusing as well. So yeah, Kevin, if you're still in stream, just have a quick note of that as well. So as you see, we just changed to the relatives standings there, and as I said, it's showing now Andre Franke's racing, but it is actually Mike Noble in the car. So we'll just flick it back over so you can see. So yeah, just something, a little bug we can obviously hopefully get fixed when we do some more endurance races with driver swaps. So yeah, currently Mike Noble is holding P1 at the moment. And we've got JC Grobler in P2, who's currently 1 lap down by the looks of it. I can't exactly give you the exact time yet.
Focus Wolf just typing. I still don't understand how F1 can run there. I guess you're a bit confused because that is Sanford where that is Zolder where here right now, and the track we are talking about is Zandvoort.
Zandvoort, yeah. Yeah, but they have started to change a bit of the layout of Zandvoort, haven't they, to make it prep for F1.
Yeah, the last corner, I guess, banked it.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, guys, been not really many on-track overtakes at the moment. Most of the overtaking's been done during the pit lane, so it's going to be very confusing for the next sort of 10 minutes or so until we sort of get an idea of where people are in their current positions.
Okay, sorry. Now I understood it correctly. Because the chat has been talking about Sanford, actually. It wasn't a mistake by Focus Wolf. So they've just talked about Sanford there.
Ah, okay, see.
Sorry.
Fabian, you're confusing us all.
That's my
In the meantime, car number 191 of the Racing Line team has been given a stop-and-go penalty. That was for speeding in the pit lane. So
Yeah, they need to get back in the first gear and get that pit limiter on straight away, and not take it off until they're after the pit line. Otherwise, yeah, it just costs them too much time with these pit mistakes.
Yeah, Focus Wolf just asking if, or wondering if Sanford's F1 layout with a bank turn will be an ACC, and I don't think so because ACC represents the 2019 tracks and cars and championships. So I don't think that this will change. Maybe if ACC supports the 2020 season as well,
then yeah, the
I
track
guess they
may
will change it.
Absolutely, yeah. So car 88 is also has a collision. Penalty for that.
Oh, drive.
Yes.
Oh, they are in P2 at the moment, so they are the team that jumped car number 20 with Sama Ibrahimi and Taham Ali. But they will be losing that position now with the drive.
Yes, I can update you on that. Car 88 collided with car number 2 whilst car 88 was lapping number 2. So that is the reason for the drive-through penalty. It was deemed that car 88 overtook car number 2 too aggressively and caused car number 2 to crash. So that's the reason that penalty has been handed out.
Yeah, someone just said in chat there that new drivers need a trouble speed pit limiter when they jump in the car, so I don't know if that's true or not, or whether the pit limiter will still be on when the new driver takes over the car. That's something to look into. Maybe that could be the reason.
And there is car number 88 serving drive-through. So they will be losing quite a lot of positions now. At least the position to Chris Höke, maybe even the position to Paul Costa. That depends, but I guess they will be fine in P5.
Yeah, this car 191 has got a stop and go. They've just cleared their penalty, sorry. But I'd say that as car 88 has just cleared their drive-through as well. So car 14 has got one lap left before he has to go into the pits, otherwise he gets disqualified from the race to serve his penalty.
So JC Grobler with car number 88 are in P5 after they've served their penalty, and Paul Costa is now around 3 seconds behind them. So this might get interesting between those two, or that depends how fast JC Grobler can go, but that can get interesting there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so the incident concerning the number 88 Mercedes that got a drive-through penalty, I have gone back through the replays and looked into the incident. The number 88 Mercedes rear-ended the number 2 Ferrari on the back straight of Zolder, so that's the reason that drive-through penalty was given out. He, from what it appears to be on the replay, completely took out the number 2 car, so I think the steward's decision for a drive-through is probably justified there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Git. Welcome to the stream.
And just to confuse you anymore, car number 2 is actually, at least on my spotter guide, car number 1, as there has been some issues with car number 1 still on the server, but it's not really there. It's they've been just there since the start of the race in the pits, but that seems to be an issue with the game. But yeah, car number 2 is actually car number 1 on my spotter guide.
Right. Okay. So it looks like everyone's sort of back in their same positions after driver swap. So Mike Noble holding P1, who was Andre Frankie. We have Samir Abraham, who's P2, who's swapped drivers with Taha Mahal.
Yes, then there's Ismail Gunesu, who swapped position, or who swapped his seat with Marco Ripper. So they remain in 3rd position. And then there's Krüke, car number 998, still, or now in P4. They've overtaken JC Grobler in car number 88 after they've got a penalty for taking out another car. And as you can see now, everything's got a bit more crowded and a bit more mixed up. Not many drivers battling for position at the moment.
At the moment is definitely very confusing right now with current positions. So, but let's say it looks like everyone's pretty much in the same positions after their driver swaps. So yeah, not too much has changed. I mean, we've come to the second pit stop is where it's really going to start to get interesting, and it's literally the last sort of 45 minutes of the race is where we sort of be wondering where people are in their positions then. Yeah, anything can still happen. It's not even halfway through the race yet.
I was just about to say, if you are looking for an on-track battle at the moment, 15th place, car number 2, that it's supposed to be 1, and car number 44 are very close on track at the moment, so if there aren't any on-track battles, there is one to look out for.
Yeah, I've got them on screen at the moment. So yeah, so if Mike Noble and Andre Frankie keeps this pace up, you know, they're definitely going to be taking the pole position for today's race.
And Giorgio Cornaccia just managed to get in front of Isaac Nordas there. Looks like that Nordas didn't have a good exit there, yeah. So he went a little bit wide, compromised his exit. And that's why Cornaccia could take him there.
Just something I thought I would mention. We talk about obviously these races. You know, the longer you've got to go long to find out how much more you can make up, even if you have a bad start. The 197 Bentley that was given a drive-through penalty for a collision on the first corner of the first lap was all the way down in 32nd after that drive-through, is now running in 18th. Yeah. So quite a good recovery there for the 197 Bentley at the moment.
Maybe we want to have a look at him, because he is currently fighting with Nils Leknes for P18.
So I believe that the brown car there is Mike Noble with P7 a lap down, just behind Mike Noble there. So it's going to show how good the pace is with the cars from P6 up to P1.
Yeah, Mike Noble just set his fastest lap on the previous lap time, and he's just gone with a low 129 this time around.
Yeah, so he's
So a lot of people seem to be in the low 129s or mid 129s, occasionally dipping into the 28s.
So it looks like I might have an overtake here with, I was going to say Eric, but I believe it's Stefano. Yeah, I agree there, Mr. Gitt. Definitely, those two together, they are pretty good together. So, I mean, if it wasn't for Samir's mistake earlier on, maybe Samir would still be in P1, but unfortunately had a mistake, lost about 8 seconds off of Andre Frankie for P2, for P1. So yeah, so that's cost him dearly for the race.
Yeah, but you've got to remember there is still just under an hour and 40 minutes left to go.
Absolutely,
we're not
yeah.
even reached half distance, so there is plenty of chances for Mike Noble, who's currently in the car and in the lead, to have an accident of his own. He's kept it very clean so far today and out of trouble, but they've got to continue doing that for the next hour and 38 minutes of the race.
Yeah, very true, yeah. It's not just that, it's the traffic as well, it's how the traffic's going to play into their hands.
So it looks like that that Mike Noble is now around half a lap in front of car number 20. So if so, car number 20 would need some consistencies from car number 123 in first position to gain anything, or to gain enough, or maybe a crash from Mike Noble.
Yeah, could well be, yeah.
It looks like that Mike Noble and teammate Frank are in their element right now, so they are very consistent. Mike Noble just done 28.9 in the last lap, and he is by far the fastest driver currently.
He sure is, yeah. He's 5 tenths slower than his best lap so far, which is a 128.4.
Yeah, and he's 1 second faster than the second fastest guy. So they are now in their own league.
At the moment, yes. But like I said, we're not even halfway through the race yet. Still another just over 6 minutes left before we're halfway. And obviously we've still got another pit stop to take, so anything could happen.
Yeah, so then the next gap that we have there is Gymnasiu to Mali, which is around 6.9 seconds. And the gap from Gymnasiu to Hüke is just another 7 seconds. And then we've got JC Grobler is... I can't see any them on the standings. Oh, what? So JC Grobler's gap to Hüke is currently 16 seconds, and then the gap to P6 is around 4 seconds. So everyone pretty much spread out at the moment.
Yeah, not too much going on right now, is there, between everyone? It's probably going to be the boring part of the race, I'll say, for the next sort of 30 minutes or so. It'll get interesting again, like I said, with the second pit stop. Like I said, we've got teams of 2s and 3 drivers. Like I said, with the drivers in 2 teams, they have up to 120 minutes to do their pit stops, but they still got to do 2 mandatory pit stops. And obviously the drivers with 3 the teams with 3 drivers, sorry, they have 70 minutes stint to obviously complete their 2 pit stops as well. So technically 2 drivers could do the full 70 minutes, and then the 3rd driver would just finish off with the remainder.
So Jarek just suggesting that he wants to see more onboards. So maybe you want...
Yeah, I mean, generally, I normally jump onto the onboards when there's some action going on, so you get a bit more of what went on earlier on. I mean, if you go back to about an hour ago of the race, you'll see some awesome onboards where we had some great overtakes. So yeah, so more or less, once we start to get some more overtakes, I will use the dual cameras again with the onboards.
If you are looking for a close battle, there is I think for 17th place there is a train of 3 cars at the moment. It's the number 21 Audi, followed by the 47 Aston Martin and the 555 Mercedes.
The 555 Mercedes just wanted to have a look at the inside. Maybe tried to attack Hampus Merling there, but it was not enough for Engman to pass him.
So yeah, thanks for the follow there, Simon. Appreciate that. Yeah, Garrick, unfortunately not. I mean, we've got probably got 85 drivers connected, plus I've got 2 PCs connected to it as well. We've probably got nearly 100 connections to the server right now to the stream, so probably not.
Just so you're mentioning that, a nice move by the 555 Mercedes there to move up in front of the number 47 Aston Martin. And he is now going to look to get past the number 21.
Absolutely, yeah. So even with this amount of connections to the server, I mean, we're sort of peaking about 40 megabits per second on speed, which is not much at all of our bandwidth.
So Simon, maybe you want to have an onboard look at who is it? Car number 555. So maybe that's a good opportunity to have onboard cameras now.
Yeah, I could jump on if you want, but he's...
Oh, he's just managed to pass the Audi with the number 21 into turn 1, which I said earlier is not a usual spot to overtake someone, and car number 21 struggles with his rear grip and gets now overtaken by car number 47. Maybe on the outside.
Just a quick thing to note here is that the number 13 Aston Martin has been given a drive-through penalty for exceeding track limits on too many occasions. So track limit penalties have started to emerge as we are just about to hit the halfway point of the race.
Yeah, Kevin, just give you some information now. I mean, our CPU's only at 4% usage, and so we're peaking about 40 megabits per second off speed, which is hardly anything at all for our server, so yeah, we're pretty good for the amount of connections we've got.
Also, not sure if it has been brought up yet, but we have lost the number 14 car that was being driven by Zoltan Kalmandi. That car has retired from the race.
That's a shame, because it was an agreement that no one should retire, everyone should manage to get back to the pits at least, continue the race.
Yeah, but considering it's the first retirement after
sort of halfway now,
hour
yeah.
and 30 minutes, it's
Yeah,
quite.
absolutely, yeah. No, I agree.
Keep pushing.
There we are, guys. Halfway mark there. Still an hour and a half to go. Mario Vista just said high contact.
Yes.
Say contact anywhere. I can't see anything there. 191 is the only car I see that had an incident earlier.
Car number 38 just had an incident and is now standing on the start-finish straight. And it looks like that Chris Höke is gaining time on Gunesu in front of him. He's now 1.7 seconds behind him. He was 7 seconds behind him earlier on, so he managed to gain quite a few seconds there over the course of the last laps. And he is just 2 cars behind him already.
Yeah. So, Necklace from P17 just managed to get P16 there. We just caught that just in time.
Yep. And it has been called that there is a drive-through penalty for car 665 for causing a collision with car 192. So, unsure if you saw car 192 having to rejoin the track, but yes, it was car 662 that had an incident with him, and he's been given a penalty as a result.
Now Chris Höke is right at the tail of Gunesu, under a second. So we will see a battle coming soon between both of those drivers. Some clarification about the retirement of one of our drivers, which was car number 14. They had to retire because the second driver's internet connection couldn't hold up, and so the first driver exceeded his maximum stint time. So they had to retire.
Right, okay, that's interesting to know.
So good to know that they didn't retire because they had a crash or something like that, but because they couldn't otherwise. So now there's an interesting situation coming for Chris Höke, who is just at the tail of Gunesu, as they have to both lap a few cars in front of them. And now
A few cars going off the track there as they're trying to allow Chris to pass, as there's got a few back markers this there.
I always find that quite amusing when people take to the off track to let people pass. Not always necessary, in my opinion, but people are free to see as they do fit, as long as they don't interrupt anyone else's race, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, everyone's still racing, aren't they? So if they're still racing, you know, they don't have to give up position, especially through a chicane. You know, they should wait until if there's enough time allow and pass before the chicane or just after the chicane. So far so good. So, yeah, so Chris Hokie is now up to P3. So done pretty well there so far. So we've got two of the Red Line Racing team holding P2, P3 at the moment. But again, we've still got we've still got an hour and 24 minutes left of the race. So this is, again, anything can happen with this final pit stop. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying there, Garrett. It's this, yeah, it would be interesting to be able to put up some live timings and stuff.
And Chris Hoeke is flying at the moment, as he is also catching up to Taha Ali in front of him. He's gained 5/10 in the last lap, and he was also quicker in the laps before, which puts him 6.1 seconds behind Mali. To remind you that that gap was once 14 seconds before. So Chris Hoeke is really good right now.
He sure is, yeah. Yeah, guys, just got someone in chat here asking about how much brake balance the Porsches are running here. Is there any chance you guys can just have a quick look over the Porsches and see sort of brake bias they're running? I'd be quite interested to know. I would put it on screen, but it's going to be a bit of a mess for me to change all that over to have a look.
So Chris Hoeke is running with 53.8 and Taha Ali 54.6. So very close to 50%.
As I just said in the chat here, car 74 was just parked on the track, as well as car 38. It's hit multiple people, not just 665. So I might be worth investigating that, guys. Just have a quick look into that.
And just another half a second gain for Chris Hoeke on Taha Ali.
Yeah, he's definitely closing that gap there, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's just as fast as Mike Noble at the moment, only a tenth slower than him.
Yeah, because Mike Noble's last lap time was, well, Mike Noble's last lap time right now is a 1:29.7. We'll just see when Chris Hoeke comes over for this lap to see where he is at the moment. But do you want to see, I've had a bit of traffic to be contending with as well, but still be getting these 1:29 lap times is pretty impressive.
And there's Chris lap time at 29.4, so he is fastest car at the moment.
He sure is, yeah. So Mike Noble 1:29.7 last lap. Taha Ali managed 1:29.9, so 2 tenths slower than Mike Noble, and Chris Hoeke managed a 1:29.4, putting him 3 tenths faster than Mike Noble and 5 tenths faster than Taha Ali in front. Yeah, appreciate that, Garrett. Thank you. not too much change at the moment. We just see the car 665 has just cleared their stop and go penalty. So yeah, not too much going on right now. Too much of the mixed grid so far. Not enough people close enough for a battle at the moment. There's only really Chris who's slowly closing that gap now, as he was about 5.5 seconds behind Tara Halami, but now he's down to 4.3 seconds. We'll just jump over to Mike Noble at the moment, so he's managed a 1:29.2, so that's fastest lap of fastest lap time of this lap so far. Chris Hokey's a 1:29.7 from his last lap, so we'll see how he gets on in a minute. Taha Malib only managed a 1:30.9, so almost a 1:31 on his last lap, so he's definitely a lot slower. Chris Hokey's managed a 1:30 dead, so 8 tenths slower than Mike Noble, but 1 second quicker than Taha Mali.
Means that Mali should be now only around 5 seconds in front of taken. Yeah, 4.1 seconds it is for Chris Hoek to catch up to Hamali.
Right, so I do have some news. Car number 44 is under investigation for hitting car number 5 into the first chicane and then spinning car number 38 on the exit of the second chicane. Both those incidents happened on the same lap, so there is an investigation going on to that at the moment.
Interesting. Yeah, that's going to be very interesting there. So, see how that pans out.
And if you want to have a look at all the teams yourself, just have a look at the spotter guide I've just posted to both Twitch and YouTube chats. There you will see all the teams that participate in that race.
Excellent, thanks for that, Fabio. So closest battle at the moment is here is with P9 and P10. So they've got Santoro in front, and we're on board with Kui at the moment.
As Chris Circuit doesn't stop with coming closer to Taha Mali. Just 3.7 seconds now. So I guess at the end of the stint we'll already be close to end of the stint, which should be at the 1 hour mark, where both drivers, the driver with the number 20 car and the driver with the number 998 car will switch to their colleagues. So car number 20 should switch to Sami Brahimi after the stint, and Durga will most likely switch to Vicky.
Absolutely.
And final stint.
So yeah, if there's any drivers in stream at the moment, do jump into the interview box and we'll get you in streams. Quick chat with you while it's a little bit quieter during this period of the race. It looks like Martin Will has managed to get the overtake there on Santoro, so manages to bump himself up to P9. Yeah, well, a little bit quiet there, guys. I will just put the spotters guide back on the screen as well for those that haven't downloaded the spotter guide yet. But these are the drivers in the car so far. Jump back over to Mike Noble at the moment to see how they're getting on.
So yeah, Andre Franke would be up for an interview at the moment, so I will. Oh, so he's already in the ready for interview channel.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll just give him the role and he can jump on in. And if Fabian, if you want to have an interview with him, that'd be great. Or Brian, whoever wants to have a good chat, so have an understanding of their strategies.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll allow Fabian to take that one.
Excellent. I'll just bring him over. So, hello, Andre Frankie. You're gonna have to unmute your mic, mate, and chat to you shortly.
Hello.
Hello, Andre.
Here I am.
Your team is just P1 at the moment. You had quite a good pace in the first stint, where you managed to overtake Sami Ibrahimi with a mistake of himself. And now your second stint looks even more promising now, as you're around half a lap in front of Taham Ali. So, what will be your strategy for the third stint?
I mean, it should be quite obvious. Just bring it home. We already noticed we have quite a huge lead since there are some mistakes from the cars behind us. And yeah, we just try to stay out of trouble, be careful with the traffic. Quite some dangerous cars on the track. Just be patient with the traffic. Don't hit the pit wall. Mike likes hitting pit walls, so that's the last hurdle, I guess.
And you also are constantly one of the fastest guys on the tracks, on the track. Have you expected anything like that, or have you expected to get close to P1?
I mean, we expected to do well, obviously, but we made the setup quite safe for the race, so not really a pace-focused setup, just to drive safe, survive the race, pretty much. And now that, like, when you settle in into stint, you just do lap times. Just happens.
Absolutely.
We're not really pushing for quick laps right now, just to drive it safe.
Well,
Especially the first chicane, you have to be careful with the curbs.
You say you're not pushing for quick laps and still are having the fastest laps of the race.
I mean, we picked the OP car, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you're very consistent at the moment, 129 lap times at the moment with you and Mike Noble. So, yeah, you're definitely in a league of your own, I say, at the moment with this race.
Yeah, Mike is doing great.
Absolutely.
As usual. Very trusty teammate.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I do agree. It's just, like I say, you've got to be safe with the traffic and, as you say, the pit walls.
Yeah, it's a tight track. It's like traffic on Zolder is pretty difficult to deal with. If you get them in the second sector, you basically have to wait because it's single file through there. But everyone has to deal with those issues.
Yeah, definitely. But you are those that deal with those issues the best at the moment. So yeah, thank you for joining us with the interviews there.
All right, no problem. I'm gonna get ready for my second stint.
Yeah, so good luck for that one.
Absolutely,
All right,
yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, good luck, mate. Well done.
Bye-bye.
Good night. So there we are. That's Andre Frankie who joined us in for the interview. So yeah, if any more drivers want to jump in and have a quick chat while it's a little bit quiet at the moment during the race, then do jump into the ready for interview chat and we'll bring you over.
Just to clarify on a couple of things that happened while the interview was going on, the number 44 car that collided with the number 38 car has been given a 5-second penalty to be added onto his time at the end of the race. So he has 5 seconds going on to whatever time he finishes the race with. Car 191 has been given a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane.
That's typical at the moment.
And car 44 also collided with car number 5 on the same lap. That incident is still being investigated.
Oh, well, thanks for the update. Yeah, interesting. So I'll just jump back over to Chris Hokie at the moment because he is improving his lap times. So he had the fastest lap. It was actually Tahan Ali who had the fastest lap of the last lap, which is a 129.328. Chris Hokie got a 129.331, so 3 thousandths of a second's difference between him. But as we can see, Chris Hokie is now 3.1 seconds off of P2, so he is closing that gap off his their teammates. So as I say, it's literally down to how good the traffic is with these guys for them to keep these 129s going. And hopefully they can start to close that gap more. But as I say, Mike Noble just managed a 128.8 at his last lap, so...
Yeah, Andre Frank is just telling us that they are going safe and a little bit slower maybe, but they don't look very slow at the moment.
At the moment, no, that's for sure.
And Ismail Gunesi is in the pits now. So car number 991 it is for you.
Yeah, just got him there, yeah. Marco Repo is the original driver.
And they will switch to Stefan Zero, as that is the third driver for them.
Interesting. So yeah, so they're the first in the pits then for their second pit stop and for their third driver. So as I say now, hopefully the next sort of 25 minutes or so, everyone should have had their pit stop. And that should be the last the pit stop of the race, and then this is where it should start to get interesting for the last sort of 45 minutes of the race.
Well, I'm quite glad that everything is working pretty fluently and pretty good so far. Had some concerns with the driver swaps earlier, but it looks like that everything works quite good so far. And every driver swap worked so far. At least we have no complaints at the moment on the Discord, which is quite good, as the driver swap feature was a bit buggy in the earlier stages of this game. Now it seems to work quite good.
Absolutely, yeah. So, guys, again, drivers, if you're in the streams, come and jump over to the ready for interview, and we can get you an interview just while it's a little bit quieter still during the race. Good to understand your next pit strategy.
Yeah, I guess we will have more luck in 10 minutes time, as then at least all the two-man teams will have set their second driver in. Then the other one can do the interview, as all the drivers that are in a two-man team won't have time for an interview, as they have prepare for the next stint.
Absolutely, yeah. So, key here is really putting the pressure on Sebastian Brunner in front, with the Aston. So he's trying his best to. Oh, I don't know what happened there. It looked like he went into the wall. Really not sure what went on there. It's definitely not my internet connection. So it'll be interesting to see what his ping is. But it looks like he's side by side as they come up to T1.
And there's just an overtake from Marvin. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we
Stefan.
Unfortunately didn't get the overtake there. So Stefan still holds the position at the moment.
Oh, but they are very close now, going side by side. But Stefan Kui backing up, not wanting to risk anything in the 8th position he has now.
Absolutely.
But he wants to put Sebastian Brunet under pressure now, as he has seen that he can get in front of him.
Just a quick update. Car number 5 spun on his own in the last sector about 2 laps ago and almost took out the number 18 Nissan that was lapping the number 5 Aston Martin. So that was quite scary in the replays a couple of laps ago. The investigation into 44 and number 5 having a collision is still under investigation. And I have been informed that it may be a while until we get a decision on that.
That's good to know. Thanks for the update there, Ryan. So Stefan Kui might be taking another go as he come up the pitch straight, as he's definitely getting the toe, as he's now got the inside line of T1, but isn't enough. Sebastian is now going to hold the inside line of T2. Also like to mention as well, Chris Hokie, who's currently P3, is now closing that gap even more. It was 3.1 seconds. I did see it earlier on drop down to 2.1. Is now 1.4 seconds off of P2, his teammate. So doing pretty well there for them two to hold, for Redline Motorsport to hold P2, P3 at the moment. But Mike Noble and Andre Franke are in a league of their own at the moment, almost half a lap ahead. As it looks like there's been an off there with Sebastian, so that's a bit of a shame. Unfortunately, that's now given Stefan Creed the position as Sebastian went off on the second chicane.
Yeah, I think he missed his braking point and he clipped the anti-cut curb on the inside of the chicane, and that threw him into the gravel trap. So, as you said, he did lose the position there, but no damage to the car and didn't collide with anyone else. So he's just going to have to get his head back down and get on with it now.
Absolutely, yeah. Bit of a shame, but he should be in for a pit soon. I'll just say that looks like Chris Hokie is in the pits, and Talamahi's in the pits as well. So they're gone pretty early on for their driver swap.
Yeah, so then the battle between Sami Brahimi and Vicky will continue.
Yeah, so these are two-man teams, both the red line teams there. So yeah, so it will be Vicky will be back into car 998 and Samir will be back in car 20, which is P2, or was currently P2.
So they are both coming out of the pits now. So Vicky didn't manage to jump Mali on the pits. They seem to have the same gap as before the pit stops. The same strategy for both of them.
Absolutely, yeah, it's definitely keeping to the same strategy, the red line team. Also, Anthony Bennett's in the pits as well, so they're having a driver change.
it looks like that we've got another guy for an interview, which is Chris Herku, who has just done his stint and gave the car back key.
Excellent. So it'll be nice to have Chris jump in and join us shortly to have a good quick interview with our team, see how they're getting on. So as I say, Samir's now back in his car, currently P3 now, so we know that Paul Coaster in P2 at the moment still needs to do a pit stop. And also Mike Noble needs to do a pit stop as well with Andre Frankie. So let's give Chris the roll and he can come and jump in. So yeah, we'll just bring Chris into the interview again. So if Ryan or Fabian want to give him an interview.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, excellent, yeah. So, hello Chris, welcome to the stream.
Hi guys.
How's it going?
Hello, Chris. So, you're currently in P4 at the moment, just around 4 seconds behind Ibrahimi there with car number 20. So both esports teams of Redline Motorsport very close together. Are you there where you have been expecting to be, or what was your goal for the race?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, to be honest, the goal is obviously that we score a podium finish. So I think we both just completed our pit stops. We were at P2 and P3. It was quite an intense fight. So the first stint we got some damage, unfortunately, so that cost us 15 extra seconds at the first pit stop. And since then we are trying to slowly gain a bit back the time. So 4 seconds currently. Yeah, 2 P3, so very excited for the last hour of the race.
Yeah, I was going to say, Chris, you definitely made up some time in your instant, so you know I think you managed to gain about 3 seconds there, closing the gap on our other teammate. So yeah, pretty good stint there from you.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. I mean, we have all sorts of teams on track, as you will have seen. So I think it's a lot of fun, I guess, to watch it. Sometimes a bit intense, a bit hard to drive it. But yeah, that's part of endurance racing, right? So
absolutely,
not the absolute pace counts, but how you come to traffic and stuff. So very exciting also to.
Excellent. Yeah. So how has the traffic been for yourself during the race then?
Well, I have to say most of the times pretty good actually. Many drivers respect the blue flags. We obviously have also some where it's a bit more difficult, but I guess that's part of the game, I guess, these endurance races. So yeah, definitely always tricky. You have to always be careful to get the right part or side of the track basically. So
yeah, absolutely, especially on such a narrow track like Zolder, you know, with the 2 chicanes. You know, it does make it more tricky for overtaking the traffic. But yeah, generally, I mean, it's pretty impressive to see most of you guys up in the top spots, managing to get the 129s. Yeah, so it's been pretty good to see.
Yeah, and how do you rate your chances of getting it will be P2 early, in the future if Paul Costa goes back to pits, because he still has to serve his pits. But how big are your chances of gaining the position from Sami Ibrahimi? What do you think?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, obviously Sami is a very fast and consistent driver, so if all goes like normal, we could well be finishing like with the same gap we had when exiting the pits. So I guess it's probably up to traffic or something that makes us gain one more position, but I think he had some difficult races in the past, so I'd also be very happy for my teammate Samir if he would get P2, so no issue with that.
Absolutely, yeah, it's just literally now a case of just keeping your head down and just continue to be consistent. As we just had Andre Frankie in the chat just a minute ago for an interview, he was saying that, you know, their plan is not to push too hard. They say that, but they've been doing 129 lap times. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. We've got 54 minutes left of the race. So yeah, anything can happen in the next 54 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very, very fine line, I find, between not pushing too hard, but you also have to push 99% to your limit, right? To keep up with the top guys. So that's really the fun thing about endurance.
Absolutely, yeah, totally agree there. So,
Right, guys, I guess I need to jump back into my chat with Vicky. So thanks for having me here, and have a great race.
we will
Yeah,
do.
perfect. Thank
Yep.
you.
Thanks for coming on, Chris. Appreciate that.
Good
Thanks,
luck.
guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Reminder.
So I just want to quickly say that Michael Springer is now in the pits, along with Sebastian Brunner is also in the gone into the pits as well. So they're all going in for their driver swap.
Yeah, and as the interview with Chris was going on there, car 192, the Ferrari has been given a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So there's another drive-through for another driver speeding in the pit lane, unfortunately.
It's such a shame.
So
It just makes you wonder if what someone said in chat is a case of that when you do a driver swap, does the pit limiter stay on, or when you do actually take over manual control of the car, do you have to manually put the pit limiter back on? Because this is where people might be getting their their drive-throughs.
potentially, but on the dash of, I'm pretty sure it's every car, there is some sort of indication whether the pit limiter is on or not. I think it's with the Ferrari, the rev lights are flashing different colours to say if it's the pit limit on, or with some of the cars they even have the words pit limit on the dash. So I think for a lot of the cars, or a lot of the drivers out there aren't really excuses for not knowing if the pit limiter is on. So it would be interesting to know if maybe some of the drive-throughs that have been given out today are because of speeding coming into the pit lane rather than out.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it could well be a bit of both. You know, 'cause, I know there was a couple of times I've taken that pit limiter off just like maybe half a meter too soon. You know, and unfortunately you end up getting a drive-through. So yeah, there is a case of small mistakes like that, which obviously is very costly later on in the race. So Andre Frankie is back in the car. So still holding P1 nicely. Paul Costa is in P2. Is he a two-man or a three-man team? Do we know? Just out of interest.
Paul Costa, which race number do they have?
That is the 55 Race for Cat Motorsport team. They are a two-man team.
Interesting. So he looks like he's got another 11 minutes then of his stint if he wants to push for the full hour, an hour and 10 minutes. As we say that, as he's just gone into the pits. So they've gone in for the pits to do their last driver change as well. Someone's just mentioned in chat there that apparently there was an issue with Giardia where he, when he jumped into the car, the dash didn't show the limiter. So it could be a game thing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that got fixed or not.
Yeah, there's definitely things that need to be ironed out, but it's events like this and races like this that can show the issues that are around and that need to be looked into, and hopefully they can be fixed before we have the next big endurance race here within this community.
Absolutely, yeah. So Jerome Rimmers is now in the Mercedes, which has just allowed Andre Frankie is in the brown McLaren to pass, who's the leader. Yeah, also someone just mentioned in the chat as well that if you leave auto limiter on both drivers, then you shouldn't have that issue. So that's worth noting. Yeah, thank you for that, Kevin. Appreciate that as well. So at the moment, looks like there's going to be a little battle going on between P9 and P10. As these guys are pretty close together at the moment.
Also, there's someone in the ready for interview box. This Brufro should be.
Someone just posted in chat as well. Hi, Stuart. Please look into my stint car ETA like halfway through. The back markers wrecked me. So
Yeah, it is. It's something I'm looking into now with the stewards.
excellent.
So Simon, if you have a quick look at the ready for your interview channel, there is Bruno Cadillet waiting for us.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll just give him a roll and you can jump on in. Just bear with us as we have got closing battle going on ahead, so I might have to stop you guys in your tracks during the interview if anything does sort of happen. Which looks like we might actually get the overtake here, as he has done. So Ricard Kohler has managed to get the overtake there on Stefano. So that's now put him up to P9. So yeah, so that's all done. I'll just put the roll over to the guy. Sorry. So I'll just bring Brufo over into the chat. So hello, Brufo. How are you doing?
Hello, good and you guys?
Excellent.
Alright, so you are driver of the number 88 Silverback race, and you've had quite a good pace earlier on. I guess you've been sometimes in P3 and P4, if I don't remember falsely.
Yeah, so I did the first stint, did a good qualifying, got P3, and my stint was pretty good. We managed to maintain the P3s, had some pressure behind one of the Porsches. I think it was either Vicky or some other Porsche, but I managed to hold steady. In fact, we actually got up to P2 after the pit stops, which was quite exciting. But then we had a few incidents, like the drive-through for causing a collision, and that put us down to P5. And then there was quite a big accident that we didn't see on the stream, but that affected us as well with back markers, and that put us down to about P10. But yeah, what can you do? That's endurance racing. But we've got our third driver in the car now, Collar, and we hope to go forward. You know, we hope to at least get top 10. That's my bird. my bird says hello.
Hello.
Hello, bird. And yeah, how were your expectations before that race? What do you think? What have you thought that you could achieve in that race?
Well, I mean, the field of drivers is just world class. I mean, we were aiming around top 5, you know, but we were punching a little bit above our weight. But yeah, the top 5 was the goal, and the fact that we were getting into the top 3 was amazing. But yeah, you know, we just want to finish now, so the top 10 will be fantastic. But thank you to you guys putting this thing together. It's absolutely excellent. A lot of families and communities are watching, and I'm sure you guys are getting great exposure. So please do more.
Yeah, thank you.
We will do. Thank you.
We plan. Yeah, and you're currently in P9, just 3.3 seconds behind Tom Pottage there. We've seen you have been quite fast there, getting to P2 early on. What do you think is still possible in that race?
Yeah, the car's good. We're all good in the car. We've got good pace, so we can maybe go a little bit forward. But the thing is, overtaking in Zolder is very tough. So if the driver in front makes a mistake, we can maybe get through, but it's going to be really tough to overtake. So if we could go +1 into P8, it would be amazing, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Absolutely, yeah. So, well, thanks for coming on for the interview. That's been really great to obviously get some inside coverage of you guys. Hopefully your team does really well. Yeah, it could be anyone's race for the next 44 minutes, that's for sure.
Thank you for the interview. We'll hold on tight and go well.
Excellent.
And also great that we've got some guys from other continents as well, just like you from South Africa there. Whole team of South Africans, which is pretty cool, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see. Not easy to organize, but yes, we managed to get some drivers. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for coming along, mate. Absolutely pleasure you coming along and race with us.
Yeah,
Cool. Absolute pleasure.
Good luck for your remaining stint.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
All right, cheers.
Alright, there's already another driver waiting for an interview, which is Tony Beninate, so if you want to have a look at that, Simon.
Yeah, I just saw that there. I will just bring in Tony and see how he's doing.
So Tony isn't only for our... oh, sorry, Ryan, you just wanted to say something.
Yes, just quickly, I was just going to get out that car number 88 was taken out by car number 38 earlier on in the race. Car number 88 was lapping the 38 car, and there was contact. So car number 38 has been given a drive-through penalty for the collision.
Alright, thank you.
Awesome, thanks for that. Right, we'll just bring Tony in quickly then into the interview. So there we go.
Yeah, so Tony is not only known for driving in those leagues, but he's also one of our webmasters. So he is he's the guy that provided us the nice website. So hello, Tony.
Hey, Fabian, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And how are you going?
I've been better.
So how's the race going with you guys? How's your pit strategy and stuff?
Well, Libor did very well in qualifying, but turn 1 there was a accident right in front of him, and he had to just drive right into the gravel. Unfortunately, it was either that or get involved in a collision. So then, by the time he was out of the gravel, we were last, and that's pretty much been the afternoon.
That's a bit of a shame, isn't it, to see, unfortunately. But yeah, unfortunately, that's part of the racing here at Zolder. It's not exactly the widest of tracks.
Yeah, exactly. How's the rest of the race been?
So far, so good, I'd say. We had a few incidents. Most of it's mainly been people speeding in the pits. That we're getting a lot of drive-through penalties, which is going to make it really interesting for this part of the race. With, let's say, 41 minutes left to go, it could be pretty much anyone's race right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's exactly what happened to us. I guess there's a bug. When you change drivers, the pit limiter is on, but it's not actually active. So I got a penalty. I got a 30-second stop-go for speeding in the pit lane, even though the pit limiter was on. But
yeah, we just had this conversation a bit earlier about this. Some people were saying that if all drivers leave the pit limit as automatic, then you have no issues at all. The pit limit stay on. But yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things. But yeah, obviously we usually know from experience now. Hopefully for the next endurance races, it ain't going to happen again. Hopefully, it comes back a bit stronger.
That's the goal.
That's it. So.
And looking at your car there, or the car from your teammate, it looks like that it has gotten some damage there on the front hood. Is it still from the first lap incident, or was there another incident?
We didn't actually take damage in the first lap, but Libor did hit a wall right at the end of his stint. But I think, at least mechanically, that has been repaired. It might just be a visual thing.
Okay, perfect. Then at least you can drive better without damage.
Yeah, and when I was driving, I didn't feel like there was any damage.
Absolutely, we just brought your car on the screen there, so we can see some front edge damage still, which we saw earlier on from Libor. unfortunately. But yeah, we've got Marco Winkler in the Ferrari so far. So he's the third driver of your team.
So yeah, what have your sorry Simon for interrupting.
Yeah, well, yeah.
What have your expectations been prior to that race? So what do you expect from that race?
Well, Libor qualified P16, and I think we had the pace to remain there. It's just a mix of bad luck, and then I had that pit limiter issue, and then I spun. So I think expectations were probably to end up around P16 though.
All right, yeah. Being in P27 right now, that's not perfectly matching with your expectations, but well, at least I guess you and your team will have another chance. Some other endurance events that we will have in the future. So
Exactly.
I hope you will be there as well.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
That's awesome.
So, yeah,
I mean,
thanks. Oh, sorry.
yeah, I was going to say, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, this is our first endurance race with ACC, you know, with driver swap, so it's a big learning curve for a lot of the drivers today. You know, so, you know, we can all sort of improve from this for future endurance races. So that's the key thing for this.
And to add to the learning curve, my wheel broke yesterday, and I had to go drive 6 hours to get a new one last night. And I was kind of up all night trying to learn how it worked.
Oh mate, unfortunately that's one of those things, isn't it? But the main thing is you got something going anyway. So at least you managed to get in and start racing today.
Exactly.
So, all right, Tony. Well, thanks for coming along, mate. Hopefully, like I said, Marco Ring could pull something out of the bag for you and maybe gains another couple positions for the next 37 minutes. Yeah. Otherwise, congratulations.
All right. Have a good one.
Will do. All right. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Simon, I can tell you that there is already another guy in the ready for interview box. So the guys keep coming.
Absolutely.
They seem to be hot for interviews now.
Yeah, why not? I mean, at the moment, while it's still a bit quiet, I mean, not many overtakes going on right now. So yeah, it's just good to get a few drivers in and have a bit more insight of, you know, of how they're on their pit strategies and stuff like that. But yeah, no, we'll bring Sebastian Berner into the interview now. So we'll welcome him in. So, hello, Sebastian.
Hello.
Right, Fabian, would you like to take over a second while I just quickly change the stream?
Alright, perfect. So, Sebastian, your teammate is now in P8.
It's off. It's off now.
Sorry, what did you say?
It's alright, I think he had his stream running in the background, which is giving an echo. That's all. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
So, your teammate is now in P8 currently, so in the top 10. What did you expect prior to that race? Did you think that you could do the top 10? Or are you quite surprised now with that result? Or, well, it's not a result at all now, because we haven't finished the race, but are you surprised with where you have been?
To be honest, we are quite happy with the position at the moment because Tom did a good qualify, but T1 was T1, not as disastrous as it could have been, but anyway, he saved it and not much consequences. And yeah, no mistakes from us so far. The strategy was quite good, so now of course it's going till the end and Tom is doing a great job.
Alright, so you just have a gap of around 15 seconds to the car in front of you, which is Marvin Weil in the only Nissan today.
Yeah.
You can still catch up.
I don't know. It's the Nissan I made a mistake in front of in second chicane at almost the end of my stint. The Nissan seemed to be strong, but Tom is faster than me, so everything is possible.
Okay.
Yeah, still, yeah, as you said, 16 seconds. I mean, that's quite a lot to gain. But I mean, anything happen in the next 34 minutes, you know, especially with the traffic and everything. So exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's not over until it's over.
Exactly. It's not a result yet. It's a good position. We are happy, and we still have to cross the finishing line.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, sure, anything top 10 wise, you know, is a great result for an endurance race, you know, especially for a track like Zolder. So, yeah, no, great job, guys. You know, and obviously thanks for coming along to obviously take part in this event.
Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for organizing such great races.
No worries, thank you, Sebastian. Is that all, Fabian, or have you got any more questions quickly for?
Well, I have one question remaining. So, have you prepared anything different than for any other event? So sorry, maybe that's a bit too confusing. So, did you prepare differently for that today's event than for other events?
Well, to be fair, it's my first endurance race, so I participate to the Tier 2 Season 2 at RLM, but it's kind of different because there is no driver swap. You manage the whole race on your own, and here we had to train to know how the driver swaps is working, and to prepare also a setup slightly differently because I usually do my setups for myself. But here you have to consider the teammates. So it was quite a lot of work for the preparation ahead of the race.
Oh yeah, so was your final, so today's race setup, was it much different than what you have been going for, or what you have been going for?
Well, the Aston is quite light on the tires, so it's a good car in that regard. So we wanted to have a slightly offset strategy. So Tom made a slightly shorter first stint and a slightly shorter last stint. My stint was longer, so I needed to be full fuel. So the setup was made for the car to be really compliant. So this is why we were not really good in quali. 11th, I think. It was already quite good, but it was not the highest pace we could have achieved. But because the setup was made for the race, especially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's fair enough, isn't it? You know, obviously, you know, we did set this event up quite short notice, really. You know, so you guys probably didn't have enough time really to, you know, set up the right setups, you know, to get both drivers comfortable on the car setup. But no, generally, I mean, you guys done pretty well. Still holding P8, sorry, P9. I mean, there's chances, like I said, you could get P8 later on.
Actually, they're P8 at the moment.
Sorry, yeah, I'm looking at the wrong board.
Yeah, you scared me.
I do apologise, guys. Yeah, so yeah, sorry, P8 at the moment. Yeah. So yeah, Tom Potteridge is currently running the car for Sebastian at the moment. So yeah, well, thanks for coming along, Sebastian. Really appreciate you coming to for an interview.
Thank you.
And hopefully good luck for your teammate, and hopefully you guys can achieve maybe one more positions out of the next 30 minutes.
Hopefully.
That's
and
it.
See you in the next one.
Will do. Thanks a lot,
good
mate.
Luck.
Okay, thank you. Cheers. So yeah, there we are, guys. So yeah, that's a few drivers in for an interview. So we got some good insight there of you know, pit strategies, what they're expecting, and obviously it goes to show, you know, they're not just setting up a car for one person; they're setting up a car for, you know, their whole team. You know, and they've all got to sort of learn to drive that one setup.
Yeah, it's definitely more difficult when you have to set up a car for multiple people. There are compromises that have to be made for everyone, really. You know, because some people will prefer a car that is a bit more loose, and then some people will prefer a car that they can make sure they have a firm grip on through the corners. So you've got to meet a midway point for each driver, and obviously the more drivers you have in a car, the more difficult that is. So yeah, it's definitely something that you have to keep in mind for endurance races.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, no, it's just, as I said, very good insights to more understanding of what's going on in an endurance race like this with driver swap. So yeah, hopefully, obviously this has been quite successful so far. This one, I mean, we're quite looking forward to some longer endurance races. So yeah, future 6 hour, 12 hours, and even the 24-hour races. So yeah, hopefully we get the manpower to get the full 24-hour coverage of that. I mean, that would be absolutely awesome if we could.
Yeah, that would be definitely really great.
Absolutely. So yeah. Anyway, Andre Frankie is still holding the lead at the moment. Some pretty quick times. I mean, Andre Frankie's last lap was a 1:29.7. Samir in P2 managed a 1:29.1. So Samir's definitely coming back strong. But I can't see how big the gap is between these guys at the moment. Let's see where.
I guess around 3/4 of a lap.
So it's about 3/4 of a
Would
lap.
be my rough estimation.
So that's a bit of a shame, really. So we had so Chris in for interview a minute ago, and as he was saying, you know, they lost 15 seconds from the damage that Samir picked up earlier on in the race. Yeah, very unfortunate, really, but otherwise, it's still a pretty good result to get P2 where they are so far. I mean, so they've still got 28 minutes, so anything could happen. But so we want so touch wood, they stay where they are.
Yeah, and we talked earlier on his on the start of Vicky's third stint that she might be competing for P2. Currently, it doesn't look like that, as she lost quite a bit of time, Sami Raini. So currently, the gap at 10.1 seconds, and at the start of the stint was around 4.5 seconds. So she lost quite a bit of time in her stint.
That's a shame. Yeah, we just seen on the screen there, car 5, number 5, who's position 29, has just got a drive through there for speeding in the pits. So that's unfortunate again. So currently at the moment, there's not much going on regarding people fighting for positions right now. I'm just flicking through to see if I can find.
Now I can confirm that.
Yeah.
The closest gap is probably the gap from P14 to P15, which is 1.5 seconds. So one of 3 McLaren cars and the Bentley car, which are, well, it looks like that the McLaren passed the Bentley a few laps earlier on, because the McLaren is a lot faster than the Bentley.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'll just stay with them for a moment. But like I said, at the moment it's 26 minutes. Still 20 minutes left, 6 minutes left of the race. Not too many battles going on so far. I mean, like I said, things may change in the next 26 minutes. I mean, we've had this before in previous races. As just see one of the black Aston Martins go into the barrier by himself. So we'll just flick through the drivers for the moment. As just saw some weird ping issues there from one of the Silver's Astons, as I just flicked onto him and he looked like he shot off into the barrier, but he's still actually on the track. So yeah, very strange. Look at that beautiful potato. Oh dear. So yeah, Mike Noble, yeah, it'd be nice to get you in the stream into the interview if you want to jump in, if you're in the stream at the moment. So jump in, ready for interview chat if you do, and anyone else that wants to jump in, feel free. We'll try and get you into the stream shortly.
Just something to mention, the car number 66, which is the play team Ferrari, has it did disconnect earlier from the session, but it has now rejoined the race and is 99 laps down.
That is great spirit.
Oh, that's such a shame. But,
bravo for coming back and continuing onwards.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah. So
that's great kudos to them to still keep going even if they are so much down.
Absolutely. So I just want to say that obviously Andre Frankie and Samir are on lap 102. Same with Vicky, who's just started lap 102. Stefan Zero's 101. Down to P6 are on their lap 101. So P7's just gone over the line for to start their lap 101. P8 downwards, they're pretty much lap 100. So you can see they're a good lap or two behind. As I say, Andre Frankie's now on lap 103. So it says Samir is roughly about 3/4 of a lap down from Andre Frankie at the moment. So I don't think there's really much chance of catching him because certainly their pace is still very consistent.
Oh, well, I want to correct myself. It looks more like a half a lap than 3/4.
Half a lap, right? Okay.
Yeah,
that's good to
it
know.
looks a lot more like half a lap.
Yeah, 30 seconds. We've just seen it very quickly on the leaderboards. 29.9 seconds.
Interesting. I just want to point out then is that Andre Frankie's managed a last lap of 130.579 with Samir getting a lap time of 128.941. So that's 1.6 seconds faster a lap that time. So if Samir can keep that pace going for the next 23 minutes, then the chances are that he could actually close up that gap with Andre Frankie. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, I will quickly jump in there and just say that Andre Frankie did have to get past 2 cars in traffic on that lap, so that may have contributed towards a loss in time there.
Absolutely.
As he looks to be going about a second quicker this lap than he was last time round. So yeah, I don't think Andre Frankie's cruising home just yet with 22.5 minutes to go.
No, that's right, yeah, and like I said, with the traffic now, especially this later on in the race, this is where things could really start to get mixed up a bit. Oh, as we just see a Porsche, a bit of accident there with P10.
That's a shame.
So, it's like a 3-car pile-up there. There's a sort of like the third to last corner.
And it looks like that Samir Brahimi will lose the second position to Vicky. And he just now continues. That was a shame for Samir. So we'll have a quick look what's happened.
Yeah, don't check that. So that was car 664 and 221. So thanks for the follow there, guys. We appreciate it. Yeah, guys, as I said, we're streaming to both platforms, to Twitch and YouTube. So don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube or follow us on Twitch. That'd be much appreciated, please.
That looks like some misunderstanding between Samir Brahimi and the car with the number 193 because Samir just went a little bit far to the left, but car number 193 was still there. Maybe a bit too cheeky there. Maybe the lapping car could have gone a bit softer on that one and didn't put his nose into there, but I guess that's a race incident, but a rather unfortunate one for Samir.
Yeah, and just to mention, car number 44, the black Mercedes, just caught up in that incident. No fault of their own, to be honest. They didn't really have any time to react, so they also unfortunately got caught up in that.
Absolutely. So thanks for the bits there, Commander Fire Black. Appreciate that. I don't know if I'm going to get any replay right now. If I flick back a minute, I don't think it's going to give us enough of a replay, is it?
And Sir Jarek just gave us maybe one of the best compliments you could give someone. He just said that he has the WEC race on another tab, and to be honest, I'm paying full attention to this one. So to get the priority over a real race is maybe one of the nicest things you can say to a virtual championship.
Absolutely, yeah. So thanks for that, guys. Appreciate you guys coming along to follow the stream here. So there might be a bit of a battle here between car 24, position 24 and 25 here. So it looks like Gosson has managed to get the position there. So he's managed to get the overtake. Sorry, excuse me, that was Zanello actually. So Zanello was in the Ferrari who managed to get the pass on the Audi. Yeah, going back to that incident there with Samir then, that was a bit of a shame to see that happen. They said we had 25 minutes left of the race. You know, maybe you should have just waited and pulled back a bit and then got the overtake on the pit straight. So it looks like Tom Potteridge and P8 is slowly closing that gap on Marvin Wheel, but I don't think it'd be enough for him to get P7 off him.
And also Rickard Kohler, whose teammate we've had in the interview earlier on, is also close to car number 777, 1.3 seconds. And we've seen the great pace from car number 88 early on in the race, where they've managed to get P2 in the second stint. And I don't know, that was just the back marker, but it looks like that he's not directly behind Tom Pottage.
Oh dear, another drive-through was it?
Yep, so that is car 193, the car that was being lapped by Samir Ibrahimi that caused that big accident. He has been given a drive-through penalty for not behaving in a respectable manner under blue flag conditions. So that is the incident has also been factored into that penalty. So yeah, for ignoring blue flags and for causing a unnecessary collision, he has been given a drive-through.
Bruno Cardilet is just... oh, sorry, it's not Bruno. Rickard Kohler is just directly behind Tom Pottage now. So we've had both teammates of both drivers into our interview booth, and it looks like that this might be a very interesting battle for the last 15 minutes.
Oh, car 55's got a drive-through for track limits.
Yep, so that'll be for excessive extending of the track or cutting corners. So that's unfortunate for the number 55 Porsche sitting in 5th place. He's doing quite well, but now he's going to have to serve that drive-through within the next 3 laps.
And it looks like that he might lose P6, and well, he might be safe for P7, but he will lose P6.
Yeah, a bit of a shame there. So 2 laps remaining for him to serve that drive-through. Just jump back over to the race leader, Andre Frankie. So just over 14.5 minutes to go to the end of the race. So unfortunately, with Samir being involved in that incident, that lost him any chance of him to close that gap on Andre Frankie. Just so that's put Samir Abrahami back to P3. But yeah, we've got Vicky in P2 now, but it's not doing too bad. Her fastest lap for the last lap was a 129.3. Andre Frankie is a 129.8. So there's 6 tenths between them at the moment on lap times.
It looks like that there are, or that this last stint is a little bit more furious, a little bit more aggressive, as I have an eye on our Discord server and also on our race control channel, and I just see very much traffic at the race control channel there, as some drivers have been visiting Chris Höge there to propose any penalties.
Interesting, yeah. So yeah, not much of a gap between these two guys. 1.5 seconds off of each other at the moment for P8. So Rico Carlo could be closing that gap in on Tom Potteridge, which, as I said, we had Sebastian in the for interview a minute ago, so it's not something they want to see, especially with under 30 minutes left of the race. But we'll see what happens here.
It looks like that we've got a 3-way battle for P19 with John Wales, Casey Sol, and William Mazzolini. So they are very close together. Those 3 cars are just in between 1.2 seconds. So
excellent. That'll be quite interesting to keep an eye on in a minute. Sol has managed to put away from Willem, who's behind.
yeah, he just went a bit too wide on the second sector. He went on the dirt and lost a bit of time. But not too much time, as he's still 6 tenths behind Sol.
Absolutely, so this is pretty much the closest battle so far of the race now. So we should start to get a bit interesting for the next sort of 11 minutes.
So now Francisco Gonzalez cleared his drive-through penalty.
So yeah, he's back out of the pits. Oh, still, Sol made a big mistake there. Overshot the first chicane. Had to give the position back to John, but that's going to cost him a bit of time there.
And Mazzolini also got a strong followership there in the YouTube chat with VMR TV, which should be his. Yes, it's his team's YouTube channel. So many Italian guys we've seen so far today in both jets. Now he's very close to John Wales. Going for the move in the first corner, and he touched with John Wales, which was unavoidable, or which is almost always unavoidable in first corner.
Absolutely, yes.
I guess that that our race control will have a visit from John Wales' team in a few minutes.
Absolutely, yeah. So Chris is in race control, so if you've got any issues, guys, do jump in and have a chat with him. Any instance regarding your team and someone else's team.
Kevin Ciclari in the chat just hoping that Vicky might want to or might or could win that race, but well, I have to remind you that she's still around 30 to or more like 40 seconds behind Andre Franke.
Yeah.
So
if we see Vicky's coming through the last corner now, I'll just flick over to Andre Franke. You've got an idea. So Vicky's just gone through the last corner, and if we take a look at Andre Franke, he's at the first chicane. So yeah, I'll say there's a good sort of half a lap, maybe just under now between these two. But I don't think it's going to be enough unless Andre Franke really gets a lot of traffic. It's going to slow him down. But yeah, anything can happen in the next sort of 8 minutes.
And just something that I want to tell you from our YouTube chat that shouldn't go unnoticed, as Camo_ZA just told us, if car number 88, so Silverback Racing, with our South African drivers, can pass the guy in front of him, I'll sponsor him a beer.
Now that is motivation.
That sure is. Right, can someone just check to see if there's a car parked at the pit entrance? Someone's just posted in the chat. Just have a quick look, see if that is clear. Looks, yeah, for me I can see there is. Looks like a green Aston by the looks of it.
Yeah, John Patch, yep.
Right, okay, he needs to move. He shouldn't be blocking the pit lane. Yeah, someone's just saying in the chat as well, this guy was like 80 kilometers an hour on the straight, so I don't know what's going on there. Maybe there's more investigations to go on to have a look.
So still 7 minutes left, so around 5 laps, I guess, for Bruno, sorry, not Bruno Canile, for Rigard Koller to... Oh, and there it happens. He just passed.
It did happen, yeah.
777. So
that's such a shame. Mistake there, unfortunately, and Bruno did manage to get the pass.
So I guess Camo_ZA, you have to grant, or you have to make your bet come true. And he even added that he will give everyone of the team a beer.
And commentators. Don't forget the commentators.
Yes, don't forget the commentators.
We're dying of thirst here from all this talking.
Our mouths are very dry. Well, I prefer milk as I don't drink alcohol, but yeah.
There we are.
I will give I just give my beer to Simon then.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll take all of that, no problem.
a long way from Germany to Britain, but I'll just send it over then.
That's it. Just pack it in some dry ice. It'll stay cool.
But yeah, the battle for P8 isn't over yet. So Tom Pottage still, even with that mistake he had, he's still very close to car number 88, Silverback Racing there. And well, just as I said, car number 88 made a mistake. And
now they're back in position. They just swapped positions again at the same place. Same place a lap later.
Just the same mistake from Koller there, just like from Pottage a lap earlier. So that will get very interesting for the remaining 5 minutes.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's definitely two to watch at the moment. So for the next 4.5 minutes to go.
So Simon, who do you want to put your money on?
What, between these two?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's very hard. I mean, they both seem to be very competitive here, don't they? It's the main thing is they don't overdrive the car and force a mistake. That's the main thing. Well, Jonas, I mean, Tom Potteridge, I mean, then Open Visor Racing, I mean, they've been keeping P8 for most of the duration of this race, so I'd hope to say that they keep their position, really.
Yeah, but Silverback Racing have been in P2 early on, so they have the pace.
Yes, that is true.
So I guess it solely depends on who will do the next mistake, just like we've seen in the last lap and the lap prior to that one, where we have seen small but costly mistakes from both drivers.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and Simon, we just got invited from Carmo to, if we are ever in South Africa, he would gladly take us to a proudly South African craft beer.
That sounds awesome. I look forward to that.
And it's so awesome to see so many international, such an international crowd there today, with teams from South Africa, teams from Italy, Germany, Czech, USA, Canada, USA,
Yeah, we've had quite a
Dutch,
lot.
of course,
Yeah.
or a whole French team. So many different nationalities today.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been great to get so many sort of nationalities into this race. So yeah. Top left screen, guys, is obviously Bruno, who's P9, and bottom right screen is the rear view of Tom Potteridge, who's currently P8.
Sebastian Brunet is saying he's sweating even outside of the car, and I can understand that. I guess he's even teammate of he's teammate of Tom Pottage, so I guess he wants Tom Pottage to claim PA for them. Well, if he doesn't do any mistakes, I won't say anything, because otherwise I will put the commentator's curse on one of those drivers, and I don't want to do that again.
Okay, so just a quick thing. Someone was talking about a car going slow on the straights and the car being parked at pit entrance. That is car number 38, the green Aston Martin, and apparently they are having issues with the car. They're having issues restarting the car at the moment. They have been informed to bring the car back to the pit lane via the escape menu. If they don't do that, I would imagine the stewards will want to disqualify them.
Thanks for the information. And we've just got a caller in the slipstream of Tom Pottage. This will get very juicy in the end. Just around this lap and maybe the next one as well. So not much time left.
Yeah, just a minute now to go of the race.
And now caller will have the better exit. So we are very lucky to have a battle going on still on the last lap of the race. And wow, look at how close caller is there.
Yeah, so I'll keep the battle up in the top corner. I'm going to jump over to Ando Frankie as there's only 16 seconds left of the race, and it looks like this might be the last lap as well. Oh, nope, there is one more lap to go by the looks of it.
Leaders on final lap now.
And he is... Oh no! He just... Caller just touched Pottage there. I guess he will give back the position. But that was very unfortunate. Yeah, he gave back the position, so fair play to him. I guess this will still grant him a penalty, and now he's trying to overtake on the first corner. Very close racing from both of them. Sadly that ended now, or didn't end, but sadly we had that We had the touch from Koller, and now he's going through. I guess Portage now has too much damage to hold P8. Oh, and someone informs us that P1 and P2 and P3 are less than 1 second apart. So Sami Ibrahimi just at the back of Vicky.
Yeah, we'll jump over them shortly because Andre Frank is not far from the finish line now. We've only a couple of corners left to go.
Yeah, I will inform you if some overtake is being done. But Ibrahimi managed to get back on Vicky's tail after he got touched or got crashed out by one of the back markers.
Excellent. So Andre Frankie's managed to take P1.
And this will get very close. Oh. So Vicky jumped over the curbs, but managed to hold the place. Remy tried it.
I'm trying to find P2. What's going on with P2? too many back markers getting in the way.
Yeah, no position change now, but oh no, Ibrahimi goes to the outside. Vicky tries to defend. Ah, this is so close.
Yeah, there was also an accident as well. I just caught guys involving car 19 and car 20. Sorry, position 19 and 20 at that time.
It looks like that Vicky managed to hold P2.
That's it, yeah. So Vicky's managed to get P2. Samir Ibrahimi's managed to get P3. I guess these guys were also on a lap behind and just completed. So yeah, so we've got Stefan Zero on P4.
Just look at all those cars in the gravel trip.
Absolutely.
There's an Aston Martin upside down, I think, as well.
I guess he's from Australia.
So there we are, guys. Some absolutely awesome racing from everyone. You know, being absolutely great to have all these drivers in here. You know, the driver swap going really well. Yeah, so yeah, really good, a good endurance race, should we say?
Oh, do I see some cars making love in the gravel pit?
Yeah, just double check the last lap. Like I said, there was a position between, I think it was Casey Soul. There's an incident between him and someone else, I believe. I caught from the laptop screen. But yeah, there we go, guys. Absolutely awesome. So that was our 3-hour race of Zolder. So absolutely great to see that. We will be back. Where are we today? Saturday today, aren't we? Yeah. So we're back next Friday with our ACC Season 2. That'll be round 3. I don't even know what track it is. I think it's Silverstone, actually, isn't it? Silverstone is where we are next Friday. So do come back for that. We have got other streams running for other games as well. But yeah, next Friday is the next ACC stream. So do come and check that out, guys. But yeah, thanks for coming along, guys. It's been absolutely brilliant to have so many viewers today to come and watch this race. Yeah, it's been absolutely cracking. And obviously, thanks to all the teams that have come along and their drivers who obviously take part in this event and obviously make it what it is, and obviously thanks to all the organisers and our commentators for obviously putting this all together as well. So thanks a lot, guys, and we will see you again soon.
And don't forget, we will have the next race is actually the Porsche Cup race on Monday.
Oh yes, I do apologise. Yes, we've got the Porsche Cup race on Mondays in ACC, and then we've got our Season 2 round 3 at Silverstone on the Friday, and then in between that we've got obviously other races in other games as well. So again, yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for coming along. Really appreciate it. Thanks for obviously the follows, the likes, subscribes. Like I said, we've been obviously streaming on both platforms, YouTube, Twitch. So yeah, been absolutely smashing. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys, and hopefully we'll see you again soon for another endurance race, maybe a 6-hour, 12-hour race. We will look forward to that, and then eventually get the big one going, the 24-hour race. So yeah, thanks again. Cheers.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.